What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be watching 3 different videos, maybe 4 different videos. We're going to be watching the CES 11 tech we saw at CES 2026, so the best tech that is so far in day 1 or media days. We're going to watch that. We're going to watch a Red Dead 2 comparison videos are lying to you from IGN, which Luke Stevens is reacting to. So he's reacting to IGN, and I'm reacting to Luke and IGN at the same time because I liked a little bit when I watched the video for the first couple of minutes. I like that I want to respond to IGN's criticisms, and I also want to reply to Luke Stevens' criticism as well. So I thought that would be interesting. Then we're also going to watch a video where Rockstar this video came out where a bunch of people have found a new mystery, which last night we were playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and Jesse Mack, person that watches us, said that it's old, but yet I can't find anything that says it's an old thing. Now, I'm not saying Jesse Mack is wrong. It actually it made me wonder, right? Because article after article after article, video, people are talking about it in the last 2 weeks, that this new thing that they found 7 years later in Red Dead Redemption. And Jesse's like, yeah, I've known about it. So I'm wondering, no one's commenting on any of these things. So is it something that's old in the game, or is it something that's not old in the game, but people are I'm confused. So we're going to watch it. Maybe people know about it. Maybe people don't know about it, but we're going to watch that as well. And then anything else that pops up throughout the show. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, videos, have conversations, give you my thoughts and opinions, and then I get your thoughts and opinions as well. Good morning. What's going on, Jesse? What's going on, Jason? Eclipse, All Turn, Sarge, good morning. Travis, good morning. Wonder Rose, good morning. Just Enough, good morning. Aku, what's going on? Roic, good morning. Let's see. Who am I missing? The Cisco, what's going on? Good morning. Real quick, because Just Enough asked, Altern, good morning. Just asked in the chat, real quick, before I even get to that, Eclipse, I know your thing went off while music was playing in the morning. Where is your thing? I want to pop it up because it's 27 months. Oh, here it is. 27 months. He says, Goon for life, Goon Squad for 27 months. Thank you very much for the continued membership. Appreciate that very much. So what TTS is, let me bring it up on the screen for you so I can show. It's text to talk is what it is, right? It's text to talk. I watched, It's Alex last year a few times, and I saw that he was using it. And we tried it early last year when we were doing it, but I was like, you know what? I don't know how to implement it in our channel, right? Because I pick people's names, and for instance, Aku says, sounds like, Jimmy's smart man avoiding things, because I read people's chats, I bring them up on the screen. I've liked that. We've been doing it for a year and a half, right? But I'm trying to, for some reason now it's not working. I'm trying to bring in, because I'm just one person, right? I'm just one person, where I'm trying to bring in other people that maybe I don't always see the actual stuff. I for some reason I can't. Oh, that's just, it's bringing up the overlay. Sorry. Monster. Okay. So let me log in so I can show you. All right. So basically what it is, Just Enough. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen. It's TTS Monster, and basically what you can do is that if you would like to get your voice heard on the stream, right? Because I can't always read everyone's chat. Sometimes I miss it or whatnot. It's another way to support if you want to support. You don't have to support, because I'm going to read chat what it is. But if you have something that you want to say, you can pick one of these sounds, right? So if you type something in chat and you want to use, I don't know, SpongeBob's voice.
I'm going to the park with Patrick and Squidward and Sandy.
Right? So it would take what you're texting and it would say it in a voice, right? So what I did was I made it If you're a member of the channel, it's cheaper, and if you are not a member of the channel, it's just a little bit more. It's like $1, $2, whatever it is, for minimum to use it, and that's it. So if you want to use that, you can. If you don't want to use it, not a big deal. We're still going to be doing exactly what we're doing when we bring up people's chat up on screen. So you guys are 100% part of the show. So that's why I have chat on the side. That's why we go back and forth. This is why it's not a debate. It's just a fun show, interactive show type of stuff like that. Use Optimus Prime's voice. I can't use Optimus Prime's. Well, actually, I can, but it's blocked off because we don't pay. We have the free one right now.
100 years old is such a young age if you happen to be a bristlecone pine.
Right. So basically, there's different voices that you can use and whatnot, and it goes towards and supports the channel as well. All right. So we're going to start off. I want to kind of start off with the Red Dead Redemption, like what's happening, right? Is this okay? So this is a channel called Strange Man. All the links of the channels are in the link in the description down below. And if you want to use the TTS, the link in the description is also down below. There's a guy that tells you how to do it as well. So we're going to bring this up. This is Strange Man. He has a video. I don't think he speaks during this video, if I'm not mistaken, or unless this is a different person's video, but I think he actually speaks. Someone else doesn't. What's happening in Red Dead Redemption? I saw this yesterday, and I was like, oh, cool. It's a new secret, right? Articles are being written about it saying that it's brand new mystery that's in Red Dead Redemption. Brand new secret that's 7 years in that no one's found it, and people started seeing this. Now, there's two parts of this, right? There's... well, three parts now since I played last night and Jesse Mack said something. But one side is like, was this in the game for the last 7 years, or did they insert something of this recently and that's why people are finding it? I don't know either of these. I don't know if the answer is right or wrong. Okay. Then there's a group of people that have found this and they've connected all the points and stuff like that. And this is why I don't know if it's new or if it's old. And then Jesse Mack last night, while we were playing Red Dead Redemption 2, said, yeah, no, that's not new. That's an old thing. And it got me thinking, right? It got me thinking because if it is new, how are they figuring it out so fast? Okay. Because if it's been in the game for 7 years and no one has found it, but then all of a sudden someone found it and they're completing it like this, it makes me wonder, why wasn't this found before? Which gave a little bit of credence to what Jesse Mack was saying, because it's not new, it's old, and people probably found it and then forgot about it, and now new people are coming into the game and playing it and found this thing, and we're like, oh, this is a new clue. So we're going to watch this video. We're going to watch this video, and there's some clues and stuff, and basically, I think this is pretty cool, regardless if it's new, regardless if it's old, regardless if people already know this stuff. There's articles being written left and right now from all the different outlets, okay? But what I love about the fan base of Rockstar games is that the Mount Chiliad thing was a disappointment when they figured it out like there, but it took very many years to figure it out, right? People with Grand Theft Auto love figuring out clues. People in Red Dead Redemption, people in Red Dead Redemption 2. There's a lot of different things that makes you go wonder, how do they stick all of this stuff inside this game with like little puzzles and little things that people might not even notice? And I think it's pretty cool, which makes me wonder, how Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be. But let's watch this just so you can see what's going on.
Oh, my lord, they're fantastic.
So you just passed 500,000. Okay. So it says, in case you're not caught up, let's do a quick recap. Okay. So they found phone poles, and on the phone poles, there was script, etching inside the phone poles, okay? So this is where he is. The spider symbol is here. So he finds the spider symbol, right? So there's the spider symbol. Now imagine this. You're in this giant open world place, okay? And someone just happens to walk up to a pole and is like, that kind of looks like a spider. And then you'd be like, all right, cool, right? But what this is the fan base now. This is why I'm so impressed always by the fan base of Rockstar games. Now, why you would take this spider, morning Ginger Prime, why you would take this spider and then put it at this scale on the map, right? Right? Ginger Prime with 22 months.
Ginger Prime Gaming celebrates 22 months of membership. Boom, 22 months, baby.
Thank you very much, Ginger. Appreciate that. Right, so there's the TTS, by the way, right? It takes all the members and stuff like that and reads it out. So we don't miss it anymore, right? So to do the scale, right? To do the scale of the spider on here and put it on the map at the largest, pulled back the most, right? So here we go. Continue. So now he has and marks all the points on where the legs are, okay? It says we overlaid it on the map and the legs led to 8 spider webs. Imagine how many hours it took to figure this out. I don't even care if there was 1,000 people all figuring it out. You had to scour the map to try to find it. So then they found these spider webs on the actual phone poles. Now, the funny part is, this is the same type of thing that was happening in GTA 6, or I'm sorry, GTA 5, where there's spider webs that appeared in certain areas on the map at certain times that people figured out as well. Right, so there's a feather in each of these things. And they found them all. So now it says we can shoot the feathers off of them, right? So they shoot the feathers off of them. Now, some people are speculating maybe you shouldn't have shot the feathers, and maybe you should use the arrow because it would knock the feather out, and then you can collect the feather. Right? So then, inside... Well, let me rewind here. It says inside the spider, there's a central 9th web. Okay? So there's the 8 legs, and there's the one in the dead center of the actual spider. Sarge says, I love how the devs from Rockstar always are fucking with the fan base. It's hilarious. Aku says, 30, I would guess it's old. After about 1,500 hours in Skyrim, people will keep making articles now again about stuff that's also dedicated fans that have found. Same with Starfield. I understand that, Aku, and I totally agree. And again, this got me thinking more when Jesse Mack said something last night. He says, this is old. But then I went to go look online, and you would think that if this was a thing inside the thing, there would be other videos made of this. There is none. There is no other videos made of this, right? And now it's covering, unless, I don't know what kind of speculation this is, right? But unless all of those videos are being like deleted, and then now they're putting new videos up, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, let's continue. Kylo says, the feathers people are saying are in reference to the eagle's fly. 5 are black, 3 are red, indicating 3 bad things happened to him, 3 of his 8 missions. All right, so there's an extra spider web. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Someone looked at the spider web and was like, there's north end, right? And then there's, I guess this is a phone pole. I don't even know. It leads us to a telegraph pole north of it. Okay, so then they go north. Right? So they find this. So then he goes up north and finds the telephone pole, because the telephone poles are around the railroad tracks and stuff like that, right? So they find the thing, and then on the telephone pole, okay, on the telephone pole, the guy sees something, so he starts shooting at it. And when he shoots it, the wood comes off, but the pieces that stay are another symbol of where the next clue is. Just imagine being a dev here, right? And making this and going, yes, someone might find this. Okay? Right? So this is west, 5 poles. Go west, 5 poles. It says this tells us to travel 5 poles west. Right? So now he goes west, following the poles. Goes 5 poles. Finds another pole and starts to shoot this pole. So now this opens up into a completely different clue. Okay? Northwest, and there's a picture of a guitar. Which is also, if you notice the middle of this piece here is a little different. Okay? What's going on, Roadkill? So then they go up to Fort Wallace because that is the shape that was inside the guitar. Okay? So then he finds a guitar. Okay, I'm just very impressed by all of this because the fan base you would think is absolutely nothing. Okay, but they're putting all of these clues. Sarge says this is ridiculous, but here it is. Right, these are people all putting clues together. Finds the guitar. The guitar is pointing towards this tower. He goes up in the tower and finds another guitar. Okay, so this is basically where we're stuck, okay? So they're stuck here. So there's the guitar. The guitar's pointing towards the actual tower. They go into the tower. They find another guitar, okay? The theories are getting wild. So let's ground ourselves and try to figure this out. So he goes up into that main tower up there. Okay, so secrets of the map. People have found all the guitars so far that they found is across the entire map, right? There's 3 down here, a puppet over here. Right now, we're over here. We're over in this section up here. So now it says North 1 guitar, right? It's pretty clear that Fort Wallace is our next stop since the northwest of the pole. Right? Northwest. That's the northwest, sorry. What's going on, Drummond? Right, so now they go to Fort Wallace. They're at Fort Wallace. There are 2 guitars in Fort Wallace. So this one, obviously, is pointing up. Right, so that one's going up. That one's pointing towards the actual tower. Right? Tower's over here. This one's pointing up. So then you go up. Okay. Now the second guitar is near the roof access. So he goes outside and goes up on the actual roof. I don't care what anyone says. If you believe it or not, this is fucking mind-blowing. Okay? Okay, now some people are saying maybe you should shoot these out or something. People are trying to figure things out. Now he's looking around. Okay, he's looking around.
Yeah, I guess I'll settle down.
And then it comes in all clear. Okay, watch this. Yeah, this is... Okay, so the guitar at the very center is the centerpiece here. Okay? And the river is now the guitar neck of it. Okay, so up here it looks like Rockstar wants us to show us where Fort Wallace and the river looks like a guitar symbol. Okay, remember, Rockstar fans are crazy, man. They figure this shit out, or they put pieces together, and it sounds so like what they broke down in the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer. Okay, so this part's a reach, maybe. Right, Kylo's on board up until this point, and at this point, Kylo's like, "This is a reach." Right? This part's a reach. I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Right? So there's a little place over here at the neck of the guitar. Right? So he looks in, takes his binoculars, looks in, and there's a little hut over here. Dodd's Bluff is clearly visible from the tower. Now, people have found this. I found this place when I was playing the game. Right? So now they go up to the actual place, right? Real quick, it says, and what's interesting is that the guitar pointing west goes straight through it. Okay? So now I go to this hut, and I found this hut. But again, you don't know any of the stories or what led up to this. I just found the hut, and I was like, oh, there's dead guys in here. Okay? So there's dead guys in here, and they're fighting over some gold. It already contains a secret where two prospectors kill each other over gold. Right? And you can find that gold and pick it up. Yeah. It says, but this can't be the reward of the mystery, right? Because you find this regardless, right? To think about, you would stumble across this hut before you found the fucking spiders and the phone poles and the guitars to get to this point, right? I just found this point, right? It's called Dodd's Bluff, and it says that's bluff, right? So what's also funny is that Dodd's Bluff could also be a play on words. Sure. Right? It'd still be wise to check the cabin and around the area. So people are all trying to figure out if there's more to this or whatever. He says, now let me show you something really awesome I've noticed. Okay? And I guess this is people all talking to each other, and Kylo's saying it in chat as well, right? There are 8 feathers on the webs. Okay. 5 are black, 3 are red, which seems to be blood. Black feather, 5 black feathers, and where they were found. So Eastbound, Glide Cage, American Fathers 1, 2, Rage Unleashed, Favored Sons, The King's Son, and My Last Boy. This could be hinting at Eagle File's mission appearance, okay, or Fly's appearance. Okay. Red was kidnapped, held captive, and killed. All right, and one of the missions just happens to be at Fort Wallace. Rockstar could be telling us that we have something during the King's Son. I don't know any of this shit. I love the fact that the community is very interesting when they find stuff like this, right? So I'm really curious where this mystery takes us. Probably nowhere. It's probably just a wild goose chase, just like it was for Mount Chiliad in Grand Theft Auto 5. But the fact that people figure stuff out like this, if this is new or old, doesn't shock me, right? Does it shock me that someone 7 years later found something new in the game? A little bit, right? Because look at all what we just saw, right? Look at all what we just saw. right? And we're having a conversation about not if this is new or old, right? But we saw the spider webs where they found the spider, they overlaid the spider, they found all the spider webs, they found the pole, they shot the pole, they took off the pole, they looked at all the stuff, they find the actual thing, they find guitars, in 7 years. You don't think that people have found all of this stuff already when people have played like 5,000 hours, 6,000 hours of this game? Just in the last whatever time that they're now documenting this stuff is the first time it's happening. Do you know what I mean? Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries. You see what I'm saying, chat? Like, if gamers find everything in the game, and it took them years to do Grand Theft Auto 5 and stuff like that, there's still stuff that's hidden. People find certain things like submarines under the water and all these things. There's millions of people playing this game. There's millions of people finding things and communicating on the internet and whatnot. So for this to be brand new, I think is not new. I think there's pieces that people found the spider webs. People found the guitars. People might have found the poles, but they never linked them together. Do you see what I'm saying? And now they're actually adding them together, right? Because what about all the other guitars that are on the actual map? Do those lead to other places, right? Is there something you have to find? I always find it very interesting that the gaming community finds stuff so, I don't want to say fast, but they find it. They're going to find it at some point or not. So to find something like this 7 years into a game that 54 million copies were sold over the years, if not more, okay, to just find this now for the first time is a little odd. Okay, now, to the other point, right? Again, when I saw this, I was like, it's pretty cool. It's just as what it is, right? Got me hyped to go back and put the game in and see. I haven't touched it in 4 years. Okay, they have the update where the the graphics or whatever update. And then when Jesse came in and said, and all we said last night was, I said, did you guys see that new secret thing? And Jesse said, yeah, it's old. And I was like the thing where the feathers and the guitars. He said, yeah, it's old. And I kind of go look for it, and there's no backlog to find it. Okay, and maybe there is. You have to really do a search. But when I did a search, all the stuff that came up for this thing, okay, is all the brand new articles from a day, a week, 2 weeks ago, where it started, up until this point. So it makes me wonder, again, did people find the feathers? Yes. Did people find the guitars? Yes. Did people find the pieces? Yes, but they didn't put them together, and they finally put it together, and now someone that maybe is new in the game, that maybe didn't follow Rockstar or Red Dead Redemption back in the day, is finally putting all these pieces together. So then all the media runs with it saying it's new. And we saw something yesterday, which, again, the video that we showed yesterday with the guys that dug a hole in Dublin on the beach, and 2 years later, a reporter on the news said, hey, there's an event on the beach that someone found, and it's an astronomical event of a meteor that crashed down. The guy's holding a rock, and he's saying, you can see the scorch marks here. But really, it was just two guys that dug a hole 2 years earlier, and now someone just found it and thought it was an astronomical event of a meteor coming down, right? And that's what I'm kind of talking about right now, right? So is this new? I don't think it is new. I think it's old stuff being connected as something new, and the articles and the media is running with it because obviously it's a fun little thing. Little speculation. It could be because they're promoting, hey, we just did the update and whatnot, right? And it's advertising. And if that's the case, guess what? It works. Because when I saw this, I was like, you know what? I didn't want to jump in to figure out the clue. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go back to Red Dead Redemption 2 just to check it out. And it's such a beautiful game. Such a beautiful game. Which then takes us to our next story. Okay? because it's so beautiful, and it's back from 2018. Okay, 2018, and you look at stuff like that, and you're like, holy Christ. So I want to know what you guys think, right? I don't think this is new. I think it's old stuff being presented in a new way, which could be new, but I just like all this stuff. I just like the fact that there's stuff like this and Rockstar does in all their games. And it's just fun for people to find and speculate, right? This is something that we're missing with our fandom in today's media, in today's entertainment, right? Remember when we all loved Marvel? Remember when we all loved Star Wars? Remember when we all loved Lord of the Rings and you speculated and fans talked to each other and they did certain things and we all loved what the thing was? We're missing that. We're missing that. And this little piece of the pie here of Red Dead Redemption 2, the people that are playing the game are doing exactly that. They're fans of the game and they're just enjoying finding out and figuring out things together or speculating about stuff, right? And that's what I miss. I miss Star Wars, where we used to speculate what could be, where we used to speculate on Marvel what could be. But we all lost that love, and I'm kind of envious of the people that love games like this, and they're still figuring out things, okay, and loving what they're playing. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is old? Do you think this is new? Right? What do you think about what Rockstar does with all these clues and mysteries and stuff like that, right? And let me know. Thanks for watching. All right, chat. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is new? Do you think it's old? Do you think it's a mixture of stuff? I know Aku said above that it is old. Let me scroll back up and see what you guys are saying. Kyle says, I guess the file's name is called Spider Dreams. So I think it's something to do with the sleeping in the game after you do some. Like a dream weaver. It's like a dream weaver. Like a dream catcher type of thing. Is that what you're saying? Jesse Mack says, in GTA 4, the subway system's Ratman Easter egg were real. Aku says, 30, I was part of the stuff in Battlefield 4. My bow was unlocked via the long process, not in a short method, for example. Stuff like this is fun. Right. Kyle says, the one or two devs who put this Easter eggs into the game is probably smiling ear to ear right now. Probably. I think it's cool. Right? I do think it's fun and cool. You have to go to the Wayback Machine, but people who played this game since day one on YouTube's dedicated Red Dead Redemption 2 didn't know about it. I keep hearing X-File music. Trippy commentaries in this channel who probably noticed these webs earlier. Sure. No, Juby, I think a lot of people noticed the guitars. Obviously, I remember the guitars. I just thought they were guitars. I'm sure I passed the spider web and didn't think anything of it because I found one spider web, right? And I was like, no big deal, right? I have found everything that they've seen, but I've never put it together I've never found a phone pole and go, oh, there's a spider on that pole, because I've never examined every fucking telephone pole in the game, right? So I probably have found majority of the stuff, but I've never pieced it together as a clue for something. You know what I mean? What's going on, Mo? Good morning. Hey, do we have to find Destiny 1 disc, bro? Because it's buried. I need a strategy looking soon if you're going to try it. Yeah, if you want to play it tomorrow, Sarge, as a go back remembrance of Destiny 1, you have to have the disc because it's not on my system, so I haven't tried it. I think I'm going to try it this afternoon, put it in to see if it loads up inside. Krabby says it'll work fine if you have the disc. Mr. G says, the mystery is more interesting than watching you try to put 3 dead bodies on a carriage. That's for sure. Hey, it was 2 dead bodies. The third body we left behind. Okay, so if you're gonna make fun of it, describe it correctly. All right, Mr. Z. It was 2 dead bodies that were trying to get on it, and I got 2 of them back of the 3. Okay. Lord of the Rings lore is incredible. Drummond says it is old but new to me. I love it, and it's fascinated with it. 30. Again, I think it's new for what they're all putting together. But I think the pieces of it obviously are old because it's 7 years, and I think everyone found most of that stuff. They just never connected it together. I think the different part is the phone polls is what really changed it. Because those are real gamers, but we also love for a tendency. Let's see. Altern says this is probably leading to an abandoned DLC like they also did with the GTA Online when they also added Doomsday Heist and brought jetpacks. Yes, there are dream catchers, collectibles in the game, as well in trees. Right, I've done that. Sarge says, I am serious. Has anyone watched the entire lore about Lord of the Rings on YouTube? It's like 5 hours and tells the entire story of the planet and everything that happens from the first age. Never seen it. Never seen the YouTube thing. Guitars, yes, but the whole spider webs is random polls on the map only during an hour in the game, which is like 3 minutes during nighttime. I can see it being unnoticed. Right. The shooting the poles and finding like the directions and stuff like that. Like, for instance, people probably were riding along going, oh, what's that? That's a feather up in the thing. They probably found the spider webs with the feather, right? No big deal, right? They found the guitars, but all of this together, I think, is new. Let's see. You put two on your two on yours and the extra horse. Didn't you have 3 originally? Yeah, there was one on the carriage, but I left him behind because I was trying to put 2 guys on that one carriage because they were inside the carriage. I wish I killed them while they were inside the carriage, because then they wouldn't have been out of the carriage and me trying to get them back into the carriage, right? And while I'm trying to do that, Jesse's like, "You should have got the carriage to put them in." I'm like, "Yeah, we're not there, so can't do anything about that now." Yeah, some say it's the canceled DLC location of the game. This also might be referring to. Interesting. Waterbear says, confirmed games for New Game Plus showcase on January 8th. Crimson Desert, Blood Dawnwalker, The Eternal Light of the Goldman of the Cube Atom, Heart DLC, Atomic Heart DLC, Dragon Twin. This is all Denish Attack and Forsaken Realms. Commas, Water. We need commas in there. Guitars are also promo for the Neil Diamond movie starting at Hugh Jackman. Oh, yes, that's exactly it. So I'm hoping the devs also put the finished his Easter egg. Could have also scrapped the ending because he didn't have the time to finish it, and the last location isn't the final game. That would suck. I hope they can actually find it. Mode says, Mike, I told you playing Outlaws when it's coming to Game Pass. Yes, Outlaws is coming to Game Pass. We actually said that like 2 weeks ago. There was a leak about it. We brought it up. All right. So let's go from that to the next thing, which is a video from Luke Stevens. All right. He's reacting to an this is like a Inception type of thing here. He's reacting to an IGN video, which IGN posted from Eurogamer because Eurogamer is owned by IGN, right? And Luke Stevens is reacting to that. And I am going to react to Luke Stevens reacting to IGN, who posted a Eurogamer thing. Okay. So if you guys like what we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We actually might put this a little bit faster because it's a long video. We might watch the whole thing.
We did like a week or two ago. So we looked at a video from IGN that was actually very, very good. And funnily enough, it was a video posted by, I think, the best host that they have. It's this guy, Jim Trinkup. But you'll notice the logo on the bottom left is not IGN's logo. It's apparently because they are owned, like Eurogamer and IGN are owned.
I can't make it any louder. Is it good volume? I mean, if it isn't, sorry.
By the same parent company. So IGN has started reposting Eurogamer videos, which they can do, and they ended up being like the highest rated videos that they've put out in a long time, which I find really funny that the best IGN videos are non-IGN videos. But having said that, this is a video that a bunch of you guys recommended we check out, posted over a week ago from IGN, and it apparently discusses why the comparisons to Red Dead and other similarly massive games can kind of end up being the thief of joy. You know, they say comparison is the thief of joy, and apparently this is making a similar case. Let's see what he has.
Before we even get into the video, comparisons are very different for many different things. at least in my opinion, right? When we compare Red Dead to, I don't know, The Witcher or Cyberpunk, right? You could compare these games just as a game and go, oh, well, look at the graphics now, what they were 8 years ago, like Star Wars Battlefront 2. You can compare the graphics and stuff like that. Comparing games, right? When we've had conversations like this on this stream, right? I don't try to compare games that are not the same as a one-to-one comparison. Okay? Like, you just can't, because they're not the same people. But you can compare a Fallout to the last Fallout, or the last Oblivion game to the last Oblivion game, or the last, right? And this is why, if you want to say I was defending Starfield or not, everyone's like, well, they did this with Fallout, and they did this with Skyrim, so Starfield needs to be this, right? Because it's the same company, right? And they tried different things with Starfield, they tried different things with Fallout, right? When you compare Red Dead to other games that are not Rockstar, I mean, look at what we just saw, right? Look at what we just saw when you watched me last night play, right? The game is 7 years old, 8 years old, okay? Right? 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, it's like 7, right? 7 years old. And you look at the graphics of Red Dead, and you're like, this is amazing what they did back in 2018. You look at Star Wars Battlefront 2, and the graphics are amazing. We've talked about how graphics have hit the ceiling. Over the last 8 years, graphics haven't really gotten better. There's just more games that look good, but the graphics are at this, like, the ceiling, right? They're at the ceiling of what it is.
To say, check it out. Take it away, Jim.
Let's consider the facts here. Red Dead Redemption 2 and Mafia: The Old Country, released 7 years apart, are both about a guy who rides horses in a hot country, which means they're exactly the same, and so it's perfectly reasonable to compare them like to like on how they handle inconsequential details like, does a fence break if you shoot it, or
is it too fast for the IGN guy talking?
how much does water splash if you shoot it, or
yeah, see, I never understood that. We looked at this, right, with Avowed. When you looked at Avowed, and you look at what happened with these types of games 8 years ago, and what they did with it, and then you look at Avowed, and you're like, oh, it's missing stuff, right? And we always talk about the bar, right? So the bar is, if you make an RPG, and you were influenced by this RPG, and you're making an RPG, you kind of want to make your RPG at least at the same level as this RPG, because anything less is like, okay, well, great, this is the best. And if you want to be the best, you got to either meet them or just be a little bit above. I'm not asking for this, right? But you have to meet the bar.
will a guy cradle his wound if you shoot him? Sure, we might be comparing billion-dollar apples to bulk discount Sicilian lemons here, but it does prove conclusively that Red Dead 2 was the last good video game made with real passion and not to further some sort of agenda.
Well, the passion of Rockstar, I think it's unmatched. I think it's unmatched. I don't think anyone, and if you want to call it passion or do you want to call it money? Because the money that goes into that game, from all the good games they've created, right? And when you say passion, you have to go back to what Rockstar did with Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead 1, Bully, right? All their other games that they've done over the years is the reason they can make these games better and better and better.
Oh, I can't even do this facetiously, but it seems as though the internet is obsessed with comparing Red Dead Redemption 2 to everything that comes out from the latest.
Well, they're allowed to do that. As a gamer, you're allowed to compare what you played 8 years ago and a game that came out today and is not on the same level, okay, that they try to do open world. If you're doing open world, you're going to get compared to open world games. Well, one of the best open world games is Red Dead Redemption.
Assassin's Creed, to the new Mafia, to even Death Stranding 2 of all things. But why? What is it about Red Dead 2 that makes it the bar to clear, even now, after the best part of a decade? And why does it seem like games and the technology they run on are getting less impressive?
Because it is. They're hitting a ceiling. The technology is hitting a ceiling. Right? I mean, what happens when a television set gets too big? It's got to get clearer. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the thing's getting bigger, then it needs to get clearer, right? So they keep making bigger TVs, and the bigger TV is being compared to older TVs, but the older TVs is not as clear as the newer TVs, right? And so on and so forth. Your smartphone, the smartphone hasn't really changed since they announced it in 2007. to 2027. We're talking about 20 years, right? We're at 18 years right now. The smartphone hasn't changed, right? It's the same wide screen. It's bigger, right? It does more things, but technically it's the exact same thing, just incrementally getting better and better, right?
Time goes on, well,
What's going on,
let's
Argus?
talk about that. And I'll tell you straight off the bat, it's got nothing to do with developers being lazy.
I beg to differ. I think some developers see what stuff like this happens. Look at Mind's Eye, for instance. Look at Mind's Eye. Sure, Mind's Eye probably doesn't have the budget of what Rockstar has, but they wanted to make it like a Rockstar game. They wanted to do what Grand Theft Auto was doing or what Red Dead Redemption 2 was doing, right? So some developers want to be the best, but they don't want to put the work in. So I'm not going to say that all developers are lazy, but I would say that they would like to put in less effort to get the biggest profit, right? Wouldn't you admit? I mean, that's why all companies are now going towards AI, less effort, more stuff that they can do to try to get the highest, bring the cost down because of AI. They don't have to hire as many people, but also try to do the best they can so they can be more profitable.
I will say at the outset, I'm excited to hear his case. I agree that it can often spoil the fun when you are constantly comparing everything to Red Dead or to GTA or to Cyberpunk or whatever.
Hold on now, Luke. You've compared a lot of stuff with Bethesda games to other Bethesda games, and I'm not saying you're alone. We've all done it.
Games are made with different intentions and different priorities constantly. And
I remember him talking about Avowed. We talked about Avowed. We compared it to other games that Obsidian made, right? Outer Worlds 2 is compared to Outer Worlds 1, which is fine because they both made them.
all of game development is about concessions. It's about, we want to do this, but we can't do it all the way to that degree, so we'll do it to this degree and we'll make the most of it. It's always about making those exceptions and working with it. And it's important to remember also like the scope and scale, the budgets at the time, all of that. Red Dead compared to Mafia as an example.
Well, Drummond, there's already games that are photorealistic, right? I mean, Battlefield 2 is one of the greatest looking games I've ever seen in my entire life. To this day, from 2017 to now, Battlefront 2 is one of the best looking games. It's so clean. It's so good looking. Photorealism is there, right? But not every game needs to be photorealistic.
Because I remember those comparisons. People being like, you could swim in Red Dead, you can't swim in Mafia. Therefore, Mafia is bad. And it's like, they are fundamentally...
Am I wrong, chat? I remember Luke. I remember actually reacting to Luke talking about Avowed and being very critical of what Avowed was missing compared to other games, if I'm not mistaken, right? Argus says graphics are pretty photorealistic on PC for Cyberpunk 2077 on a 4090 4K path tracing, and also real life mod on it. Go check YouTube's video. Yeah, but I think he's saying not mods. He's saying like standard, I would assume, right?
Different things. Like these games are so far apart in what they're trying to do, in the resources they had available to them, the time they had available to them. Like comparing them is frankly ridiculous. It's just they're not the same.
I just want to keep the same energy. Keep the same energy, right? I'm not going to go back to his back catalog to see, well, oh, you nitpicked this. But what he's saying right now, I'm pretty sure he was pretty critical of certain games that were missing, couldn't swim on what the graphics looked like from, 2 years ago compared to 5-10 years ago.
Same thing at all. And so I also cringe at a lot of the comparisons. And I think that it's also, unfortunately, just an artifact of modern social media, videos on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere, is that it's really easy, especially when people are looking for a reason to be upset about a game or something. It's really easy for them to attach to it an excuse or an explanation.
It also works the opposite way as well. Chat, but people don't like to admit this, right? If you love something, you make everything about it because you love that game. And when you see it, you keep, oh, well, it does this really well. It does really. It also works the opposite way of if you hate something, you start to see other things. It works both ways. This is not a hate-only thing. When you notice something, you start seeing more of it. No, when you love something, you're sniffing it, man. You're like, man, that smells good.
By saying this other thing looks better or is more impressive in this way, therefore it's okay to dislike it. We saw it a lot with a lot of games that came out in the last like year and a half that people may have disliked for political reasons. We even saw it with like KCD.
I never hate a game because of political stuff, right? We mention it, we bring it up, but we always talk about management. We always talk about the actual game, fundamentals of the game.
Too, where there were people saying, no, this game is bad because it's like too European or something. And so they're trying to find a reason to be upset about it. And they look at comparison videos where they see like the muscle deformation in KCD2's horse.
I agree what he's saying, but it also works the same way. When you're a fanboy, you look past the things that are bad.
Muscle is not as good as Red Dead 2's horse deformation with their muscles when they walk. So clearly they're lazy. And so, they just start to look for reasons to be upset, Cringy.
There is a good reason why certain types of outlets are fixated on the idea of Red Dead Redemption 2 as the gold standard that every subsequent game fails to live up to.
Because it's a look, if you like Red Dead or not, in my opinion, as a game, Red Dead is a masterpiece. Red Dead 2 is a masterpiece, right? Saying it's a masterpiece, that I'm saying it's a masterpiece, doesn't mean that it's the greatest game ever created for everyone. But what they've done, Rocksteady, with this game is a masterpiece.
On some level, because it's a hugely popular game from a beloved studio and the social media algorithms know that, but there's very little value in producing content about it unless you can tie it to a new release or some kind of fresh news story, because until there's a remaster or a sequel announced, there's not really anything to say about it that people don't already know. And as much as you don't gotta hand it to them under any circumstances, these content creators do actually have a point. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a stone cold classic and remains one of the most technically impressive game worlds ever realized.
100%. 100%. Everything he just said there, I agree with 100%.
Its map is outrageously vast and diverse, with realistically populated urban, small town, and rural environments of every kind. Its attention to detail in its world simulation and how the player can interfere with it is frankly staggering.
And I don't think every game should do what Red Dead does, because I think that would also get the game pretty boring. You know what I mean? But what Red Dead did at that level, if someone wants to make up an open world game, guess what? They've got to hit that bar. And let me tell you something. Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, I think, hit that bar for the open world vastness of what it is and what you can do in that world and make it feel like a real living, breathing world. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 did that as well. And guess what? That company is not as big as Rockstar, but they did the thing. No one's comparing those two games and saying, well, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is not the same. It's a fantastic game, but people don't like that game because it's not in the massive spotlight. They know of it, but not 54 million people played Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and 2, let alone one of them, okay? And that game is staggering beautiful. It's beautiful, right? And what you could do in that game is mind-blowing.
I haven't seen anything quite like it before or since, apart from, other Rockstar games, of which it is considered the best, and for good reason. There's a cottage industry of gaming content out there that is obsessed with unfavorably comparing new releases to genre classics.
It's not unfavorably, right?
If the internet flags you as a gamer, you probably have been fed a lot of these comparison videos that compared...
Yeah, by the company that you work for, by the way.
Cherry-picked footage with the goal of demonstrating that new things are bad and old things are good. It's
not that new things are bad. There's just... when you look at certain games and you're like, this is not anywhere close. If you look at stuff, Assassin's Creed Shadows came out, right? It was optimized really well. But I'm not comparing Assassin's Creed Shadows to Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm comparing Assassin's Creed Shadows to the other Assassin's Creed games that they've created. And to look at that and say they're missing things from that game that they've already had in other games, that's a fair comparison. Comparing it to Red Dead Redemption is not a fair comparison, but in open world standards, you can compare the two and say, this open world game did better than this game.
our generation.
And what's funny is that even happened back in 2018 or 2017 or whatever year you want to look at, where even back then there were comparison videos pointing out how the older game was better than the newer game, which is I think just a human thing to do. We always look back on the simpler times.
I think you can compare developers that make the same game and the sequels, right? I think that's 100% fair. If Starfield 2 comes out and you can compare that to Starfield 1, but you don't compare Starfield to Star Citizen, or you compare it to No Man's Sky as a one-to-one comparison. You would compare Starfield to Starfield 2 when they make it. You compare Destiny 2 to Destiny 1.
And how they were better. So I think it's very normal. Even, whether we look at, something like big franchises like Call of Duty, where we look back at the older games and like, oh, they're so much better than what we have now. Or we look at, other projects or other.
Travis, I just saw what you said. You asking that question, you must have missed the entire episode that we watched the goddamn trailer and the breakdown of 007. So for you to ask that question, you're just baiting me. You're just baiting me. You think of what the one guy said and said that it's a modern audience. I said the modern audience thing is what sealed it for me. Okay. But I went over frame by frame. Okay. And told you that this game is not going to be good when it comes out.
Things like even single player games like the Mafia franchise, which he brought up. We look back at like Mafia 2. Oh, that was way better than Mafia 3. So it's far from a new phenomenon for sure. I think it's just exacerbated by the fact that those videos go super viral too.
It's equivalent of pining for racist sitcoms based on the war, or pining for the war. They're often short form as well, so they'll be less than a minute long, and all the footage will be scaled down to a portrait frame, which is obviously bull. We're clearly not talking about a Digital Foundry level of analysis here. Yes, I'm allowed to mention them. And no, we're not enemies now. I can't believe Digital Foundry walked out on it. Red Dead 2's remarkable...
I wish I could make his audio louder.
Future-proof technology and the gorgeous art direction that give it its timeless look is a gift to people who make this sort of petty outrage farming content, because it's getting long in the tooth, and we are at a point where I think instinctively we would expect it to look its age by now. 7 years in terms of the video games industry, this massive ongoing autobahn collision between artistic expression and tech product. I mean, that's a lifetime. The amount of time between...
I think artistic expression is the dream, right? Artistic expression is what can we do, and then reality sets in for budget, right? Like, I could make this thing amazing, but if I don't have the budget to make this amazing, you got to start scaling it back. Rockstar doesn't have to do that because of what Grand Theft Auto brought in money-wise, let alone Grand Theft Auto Online has brought in, plus what Red Dead brought in and all the DLCs and all the other stuff that they've ever created. Take-Two and Rockstar have a lot more money than a company like, I don't know, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But then when you look at what Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has done compared to a Rockstar, it's mind-blowing.
Red Dead Redemption 2 and Mafia the Old Country is the same amount of time as there was between the original Grand Theft Auto on PS1 and San Andreas on the PS2. And the difference between those games is mind-blowing. On that basis, you'd expect Mafia the Old Country to be almost as realistic as actually going to Sicily, as if Sicily needs any more lemons. But everyone watching this knows that's not the case, because we just...
I haven't played this. I haven't played the last one that came out before this, right? I like the Mafia 1 and 2, right? I didn't play 3, and I haven't played this one, okay? This looks amazing. This looks amazing. I would compare this to the other Mafia games, not Red Dead, right? Me personally, I would compare to, if this game, and again, I don't know what this game did or didn't do, but I would compare this game to what the other Mafia games have done.
don't have those massive...
Did they hit the bar? Did they go above the bar from the last game?
...generational leaps in technology anymore.
Well, and I think it's not always just about technology. Sometimes it's also about manpower, time, resources. And like, considering that, the technological advancements have allowed them to make this game in a much shorter period of time and way, way cheaper, I will say.
Well, yeah, because of assets and different things that they already have.
And like Red Dead 2 was. If you wanted to make Mafia the Old Country with the level of fidelity and interactivity and simulation and everything that you saw in Red Dead 2, it would be possible. But you would need 2,000 people that are all industry leading talents, and you need to give them...
I would take that back. I would take that back, what you just said there, Luke. Well, you're saying that you need 2,000 employees and top tier. I give you Exhibit A, Expedition 33. Claire Obscure's Expedition 33 This wasn't top talent in the industry. I would retract what you said there.
like 5 to 6 years to work on the project, and you'd be spending like $1 billion doing it. And that is just frankly not something that makes sense for 99.9% of all companies out there. It just doesn't make sense to spend that much time and that much money on something like that when you can spend like 40 million, 50 million, put this game out and make more profit and take way less risk.
Well, that's Microsoft's whole plan there, right? I've talked about this in the past. Putting games on Game Pass of your first-party titles, okay, and rating them between an 80 and 89 compared to a 90 to a 94, right? Sony puts in $350 million into like Spider-Man or God of War or Last of Us. They get the 90s, the 93s, the 94s, okay? Xbox puts in 150 million. They get an 84 to an 89 type of thing, right? They probably spent way less money, right? And they're also putting it on their Game Pass system. So they don't need to sell 7 million copies. They just need to sell 4 million copies, and they're making extra money because now people are playing those games on Game Pass. There's the difference between a $350 million game and a $50 million game.
Than spending $1 billion, you know? At some point, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you can make a lot more money for most companies. You can make a lot more money with low risk, smaller products than trying to swing for the fences with one gigantic project. Like, there are companies that have gone to bat trying to do the $200-300 million AAA games, hoping that they blow up. Because I know some people are going to be like, well, just do the AAA thing and then you'll make AAA money. Do you remember Forspoken? Remember that one? Do you remember Saints Row reboot? Does that ring a bell? They tried swinging for the fences. Now, they missed.
Well, Saints Row reboot was trying to win off the name alone, not actually try to make an actual good game. That's where I would call lazy development.
They missed. Concord, yeah.
Krabby says, sometimes I wonder what a company like Rockstar will do if their budgets never get cut, because they are in the position now that they can also release a game and it looks anything less than spectacular. Right. Like, there's rumors that Grand Theft Auto 6 is like $1 billion, right? How do you top that? Well, you put $1.5 billion into the next one. You know what I mean?
They missed. They spent crazy amounts of money and it did not pay off for them. And that's where the risk comes in. Because it's easy to say, just make a Red Dead 2. Make the old country, but with Red Dead 2 levels of interactivity and complexity and simulation. It's easy to just say that. If it were easy.
I mean, it says, Rockstar doesn't make games. They make generational experiences. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. They make... You know what? You saying that, though, not that I'm comparing a 1-to-1 ratio between what Rockstar does and what Bethesda does, but people that like Bethesda games, they make really good games for people because they say they hate them, right? But yet Skyrim is still being played today, 13 years later, right? People say they don't like Bethesda, but yet they want Fallout 3 again. They want Fallout 4 again, right? They want Fallout New Vegas again. So I would say that Bethesda is also a kind of a generational type of thing, what they do.
See, everybody would do it. Why wouldn't they? The reason not everybody does it is because it's incredibly difficult and stupid expensive, and you need world-class talent as a part of all of that, which you can't just get, by the way. Like, you can't just flip a switch and hire the world's best people. Like, you either have to pay them way more money, or they have to already be working for you, or they have to...
I disagree with this. I think you could find talent of people that don't need to cost the most. Passion over money.
Believe in what you're doing so much that it's going to be good for their resume. Just like everybody who's working on GTA 6 right now knows that being on your resume goes a long way. It goes a long way. You have GTA 6 on your resume as like a quest designer, you're going to be able to get a job anywhere in the world you want, right? Whereas working on a Mafia project, maybe if it ends up blowing up, sure, but it could also turn into a Forspoken, in which case nobody wants to touch you once you've worked on a...
Yeah, but you could say that the same thing about Rockstar, though, Sarge. You think the same people that made Grand Theft Auto 5, the majority of the people making Grand Theft Auto 6 are the same people 15 years later? Highly unlikely.
Flop, you know? So the point is, people act like the reason you don't get more Red Deads is because of laziness, and that's just not the case. For most companies, 99.9% of companies, it just doesn't make sense to try and do that. It makes way more sense to do something smaller and more focused with tighter scope that you can rely on being successful with a smaller budget. It makes way more sense to do that.
Listen to what he's saying. I like what he's saying because he's correct. Smaller budget makes more money if they do it right. Yet everyone gives shit to what Xbox is doing because they're like, oh, they're not throwing enough money at it. You see what I'm saying? It's like a double standard, right? So I'm going to rewind again and listen to what he says.
And that's just not the case. In which case, nobody wants to touch you once you've worked on a flop, you know? So the point is, people act like the reason you don't get more Red Deads is because of laziness, and that's just not the case. For most companies, 99.9% of companies, it just doesn't make sense to try and do that. It makes way more sense to do something smaller and more focused with tighter scope that you...
So then why does Avowed get garbage? Why does Outer Worlds get garbage? Why do other games get garbage that are doing smaller scale and yet they get shit on because they're not as big as Skyrim or they're not as big as other games?
You can rely on being successful with a smaller budget. It makes way more sense to do that than to try and swing for the home run and potentially end up like a Forspoken or a Concord. It just doesn't make sense to take that risk, you know? And I think...
Yeah, but just because they have all the money water doesn't mean they have to spend it all. Right? If you could take a game and put 150 million instead of 250 million, and then the game comes out and you look at it and go, well, this is not as good as this game. Well, obviously, they didn't spend 150 extra $1 million on that game. Because of their business model, they want to make money. They don't want to sell, well, they do. What I'm saying is they don't have to sell 7 million copies. They can sell 4 million copies and still make profit. But in the public eye, not selling 7 million or 10 million is a failure.
It's good because, like, I don't want more...
Because they're assuming that all AAA games are $350 million, $450 million.
Flops. I want more games that I can enjoy. I really enjoyed Mafia the Old Country. I did rant and rave. Rave is maybe the wrong word. I did rant and vent a lot about the ending of Mafia the Old Country. If you want to hear that, I put together a big like 2-3 hour critique of the game, so you can go check that out if you're interested on the main channel. But anyway.
But why? Well, Moore's Law is not the law. The fact that 7 years have passed since Red Dead 2 means absolutely nothing. It's a pithy and effective thing to point out if you want to convince people that video games are crap now, for reasons. But the passage of time doesn't guarantee whatever a YouTuber's narrow definition of progress is. I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a member of the specialist press. When I started high school, there was no such thing as an MP3 player. It did not exist as a concept. And by the time I'd left high school, everyone had an iPod. And that's only like 4 years.
I'm trying to remember. When I was in high school, I was still using tape player when I first got into high school, and then CDs. And then you had the portable CD player that you had to put the tape into your car to use the CD player. And then the 6-disc track system came out. The iPod didn't come out till what, 99, 2000?
Because I'm a thicko, right? So in that short amount of time, we went from the concept basically not existing to it reaching its zenith. The portable digital music player with capacity measured in gigabytes and an intuitive interface that your granny could use. Now, since all the things we used to carry around with us have been superseded by everyone carrying around a portable supercomputer that is your iPod, your phone, your telly.
Dude, the fact that he has... like, I thought I couldn't like this guy anymore. It's just... He's fantastic.
He's a Star Trek fan.
He is right that like at some point the diminishing marginal returns reach a point where it's just not going to feel like that big of a leap anymore. It's like
the picture of that iPod they showed is not even the first iPod, by the way.
As you know, if we go back to the 1980s, so we'll just say that this is like 1980. Okay, the industry and the tech advancement has kind of been like this. And so, you know, maybe this is launch of the PS1, and then you get PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5, and then PS6 will...
Correct. Right? The tech hasn't gotten that much better from like 2010 to now.
Be here. It'll be a step up, but probably not that big of a leap compared to what you're expecting, right? And that's why I think they'll also, frankly, I think they're going to come up with a reason to delay the next gen. I think that
hence why you've maxed out the ceiling of consoles. So what do you have to do now? You got to reset, but now with no system, and now you're doing cloud, and cloud is here, but then it's got to go rise back up because cloud needs to go back to where the tech was when you actually had a box.
probably happens. I think it probably doesn't happen now till like 2020, late 28 to possibly 29. I think that it's going to be delayed, especially with the RAM stuff going on. But I think that this is just what's happening. And it's happening with game fidelity as well. And I think a lot of people are hoping for that like PS3 to PS4 leap in graphical fidelity. They didn't really get it with the leap from PS4 to PS5, and they're still hoping for some big leap. And I just don't think we're really going to see it.
Waterbear says, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It means that they need to find talent because apparently they don't have it in the gaming department. Perhaps, right? Perhaps, maybe there's a lot of people. But then again, you look at Expedition 33. There's people that have never made a game before, but they have to start somewhere, right? And they made a fantastic game. So now, like we said for Expedition 33, whenever their next game comes out, if it's the sequel or a separate game, those expectations that you had no expectations for that company, right, for Sandfall, are not going to be much higher than it was when you didn't have any expectations, right? And now you'll be like, these guys know what they're doing. So now you're going to expect more from them because they know what they're doing.
I think where the advancements will come is with like NPC AI, with scope and scale, and hopefully with optimization, but I guess time will tell. YouTube Nathan, thank you for the $10. Very generous. Thank you. Hey, Luke, big fan. What's your opinion on the newer Pokemon games, and how would you recommend Nintendo win the fans back with next-gen games? I think this is the non-Nintendo fanboy take. I think the recent Pokemon games look like ass. Sorry, not sorry. Just my opinion. Cancel me. I don't care. I understand some people really like them. I think they look like ass. And so I've had zero interest in them. My wife played.
Mr. G says they think they can do half of the job with AI. So obviously these people aren't really talent. They're just people who can also use software. I think what they're trying to do, here, I'll put it this way. If you have 100 people working for your company, but 50 of them are not really good at what they do, can you replace the people that are not good with the AI to replace them? Or the opposite, where you have guys that are okay, and then you have really good guys. Is the AI good enough to replace the people that are too much money to be at the studio? Right? And can you run the studio with okay guys and superior AI, if AI was superior, right? But I think it's the opposite way. I think it's get rid of these guys that are just taking up a bunch of air, that are not really super talented. They're just there. Get rid of them. Replace them with the AI, because they're going to do, the AI right now is going to do the exact same type of job as them. And then you have the talented people with the AI to replace. And then until this AI gets enough where it can replace them as well, then they just get rid of everybody. But right now, I think the AI is as good as the lower tier, as far as the low tier developers that maybe 2 years out of college, 3 years out of college, that can replace them. And it'll become exponentially faster over the years. That's just my thought.
My wife, she played the recent, I forget which one, she played one of the recent Pokemon games, and had a fine time. It was super broken for her, though, so I don't think she was even able to finish it. It got so broken at one point. Maybe they fixed it now, but she had to give it up at least for a while. So I don't know. I have very little interest, but what I did have interest in, that I didn't expect to have interest in, was Pal World. So to me, it seems like if they want to win people like me over, they should give the rights of the IP to other studios that are more capable, it seems. Whoever's doing...
I agree with that. I agree that why Star Wars should do the exact same thing. If EA is not interested in making a Battlefront, then let someone else make the Battlefront game. If you're not interested in making a certain game, let other companies that are interested in making that game make that game.
The Nintendo or the Pokemon stuff right now, what they think is good enough is far from good.
Sarge says, but if that's true, bro, that will hurt the long-term growth of talent. Yeah, but they don't give a shit. We care. If you're coming out of school, you care. I mean, I'll tell you from experience, right? I've been replaced by this, Sarge. This right here, right? I've been replaced, right? I went to school, worked in the field, knew about the cameras, film cameras, right? Used to have someone with fixed lenses because you had to change the lenses and be actually artistic. Now it went to handheld camcorders, to DSLRs, to now people are making full-length feature films with the smartphone from your pocket. You don't need to know anything about iris settings, anything about everything. It does it all inside the computer itself. What the fuck's the difference? What's the difference? Right? Long-term growth of people going to film school or going out to make films is all being replaced by AI. The exact same thing.
Good enough for people like me. So if they want to win people like me over, at least they need to bring in some fresh ideas because it's not working. It's not working. And I think that if they license the IP out to other studios, like if they gave, the IP to Pocket Pair, I think that'd be baller. I think that'd be awesome. But anyway, let's continue.
Your local branch of Tesco, a Spirit Level, and your mum. It's fair to say the rate of change in electronics is a bit more sedate than it used to be. I don't know about you, but the phone I have now.
The difference is that we need new programmers to have a place to get better. Same with movies. Same with script writers. I don't want everything being written by AI. It's the exact same thing. There's no difference between new programmers coming in or new people that know how to operate or know how to write.
More or less does the same my iPhone 4 did 15 years ago. And it does it in the exact same way. In fact, if you went back and showed this to a person in 2010, they'd know exactly what it was. They'd instinctively know.
Yeah, the phone hasn't changed much.
If anything, they'd probably wonder.
But then again, the telephone from when it was first invented to 2007 didn't really change much either.
Command was something that's so big. I mean, to someone rocking an iPhone 4, that's like a broadsheet.
A house line's a house line.
If you went back to the time of Diocletian and showed a Roman irrigation engineer one of these, they'd probably ask you not to wave a piece of obsidian at them while they were trying to drain a lake with an Archimedes screw. The exact same Archimedes screw his ancient
That would take forever.
Greek counterpart was using hundreds of years earlier.
Right.
Hundreds of years earlier. Now, what the am I talking about? Well, I'm just trying to illustrate that the rate of technological advancement is not and has never been constant. Progress is not guaranteed in tech or science or medicine or anything. We've just come to expect it because we happen to have lived through a time of accelerated change. And
Yeah. I think we're going to be in a culture shock because technology has advanced so much in the 11 years my son's been born. Okay, compared to when my grandmother, right? My grandmother to now saw, tech going up, but it was over decades. Now technology has changed so much from just 10 years. It's sort of the same, but yet the technological advancement, faster, more things, more computers, right? Self-driving cars, self-driving or flying planes, right? All these things that can do themselves, robots walking around the planet.
I think our brains have also been cooked by concepts like Moore's Law. If you haven't heard of Moore's Law, it's often expressed or understood as roughly a doubling of computing power every 2 years. What Gordon Moore was actually doing was observing that the number of transistors that
perfect example, right? The hard drives, right, have gotten smaller, but yet internally they've gotten bigger, right? The frame has gotten smaller, but everything's gotten bigger, more RAM, faster, more powerful.
A single chip was doubling at a consistent rate,
right,
and extrapolating that to predict where the technology would be a decade down the line. But Gordon Moore was speaking in his capacity as a businessman as much as he was speaking as an engineer. And the thing about businesses is that they like stable, predictable growth. In a nutshell, Intel likes knowing when and how it's going to sell its new chips.
Sure, that's why they keep making sequels and keep remastering stuff, because they know it'll make money compared to a new title.
And although every chip manufacturer since has tried to keep Moore's Law going, because their businesses all operate on the assumption that it will hold, like, forever, it is no longer a sure thing. In fact, a lot of businesses have decided that it's already over, and that's rapidly becoming the consensus. And that's also one of the reasons.
Well, it's also not just about, I think it's also how the technological advancement is applied, right? So we can have more powerful computing hardware, which we objectively do, but it's how it's used that matters. And I think.
Correct. If you have this like supercomputer and you're making it just use Microsoft Paint, or if you have a supercomputer and you're making it where it makes full-fledged games in 6 months, you know what I mean?
In the leap from like the PS2 to 360 era, we had huge leaps in the available memory, which allowed for much bigger worlds and open worlds and larger zones.
But then they kept pushing, right? You could have bigger worlds, but then they're pushing it to the max, which then messes up the optimization of it and the frame rate of it.
For you to explore. And then the jump to the PS4 era, there was much more memory, and we also had higher levels of VRAM available, so you got better textures and all sorts of stuff. And I think all of that contributed to what were tangible leaps. With the PS5 era, the leap has been much more towards a player demand of 60 frames from 30.
Which we had 60 frames back in the Nintendo back in the day.
Back with the PS4 era, 30 was the standard.
Well, 60 was the standard before the 30.
Like, that was the standard. I think with the push to 60, that's led a lot of students
60 is just getting back to where it was. The standard was 60. Then they all went back down to 30. Now it's going back up to 60.
studios to try and hit those targets with like a performance mode that suffers graphically, or at least in terms of fidelity, whether it's by lowering the resolution or it's by doing really aggressive upscaling like we saw with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which the whole screen looked like it was smeared with a Krispy Kreme donut. I mean, it just was like blurry as hell. So when we talk about the AAA space with the PS4 era being okay and tolerant of like 30 frames, nowadays that's seen as like if your game launches just at 30, it's like, really? And so the standard, a lot
Should have been the standard the entire time, but whatever.
of the extra power has been pushed into that. And to be clear, I'm okay with that because I like having higher frame rates, but I think that's also part of the reason that you haven't seen a lot of crazy pushes elsewhere. And they also, let's be real, this generation has been completely focused on ray tracing. That's where a lot of the effort is going, a lot of the extra compute power is going. And I think most people don't feel like it's worth it, but maybe one day it is. Some games, it definitely is tangible. You can see a big difference when it's ray traced versus not, but the performance drops as a result are rough.
By the way, that the old paradigm of games consoles getting cheaper after they've been out for a few years, you can forget about that as well. Miniaturization is reaching a
You can forget about that now. But let's see how that works out for them long term when in 2028 they announced a $1,200 console and the $1,000 console, and everyone's like, nah, I'm good. Because then they'll have two different things to do. They either lower the price and say, no, please buy our stuff and then take a loss. Or they force you to buy it because now all your games won't work on the new system. Or they won't be backwards compatible. Or they'll stop supporting the older thing to force you to get the newer thing. Right? Make the problem, sell the solution. That's the thing. Their solution is if they don't want to buy the new thing, then we have to sabotage the old thing so they have to buy the new thing.
hard limit. So this assumption we all have as a society that technology just gets better somehow doesn't hold up anymore. And this phenomenon that's
I will offer some potentially reassuring. Well, I'll offer this. I think part of the reason so many console manufacturers have refused to lower prices and have even risen prices
Is because they're greedy.
is partially because of things like tariffs and manufacturing
There's no tariffs. Stop it. If the tariffs were a thing, then why is the prices raising up around the world? Stop it.
costs because of RAM shortages, stuff like that. A lot of it's also greed. As
95% of it is greed. That's it.
he suggested. But when I say greed, I mean the company is pushing harder on the price line than they would typically or would have last gen or years ago
They always do that.
because they feel like they can get away with it.
Because they can. Because you keep buying it.
And for the last handful of years, that's been the case, is that like as gamers,
They got a taste of it during COVID. They were like, did you see how much money you guys made? They're going to pay because they're stuck in the house. They wanted us stuck in the house. They wanted you there because they're like, we could charge whatever we wanted. There's people paying $72 to get a burrito from down the road to this day because of DoorDash. They've conditioned you to be okay with stuff, and they're like, we're just going to keep raising the price because there's still people doing it.
have been more skeptical of releases. They're buying less AAA games, but they're still engaging with hardware. They're still buying hardware, upgrading, and doing that type of thing.
For now.
That's changing starting this past quarter. I mean, the last couple of quarters, it's been kind of rough for video game spending. But I think for 2026 especially, it'll be really rough. I think people are going to be very careful with their money, not just because of broader economic factors, but also just everything is raising in price. So they're going to stop buying. And that's going to force all of these companies to start trimming margins to get some volume coming back. Because it's easy to have 30% margins when people are buying your product. When everybody says, screw that, we're not buying it at that price, then maybe you drop to like a 10% margin or a 5% margin because you just need money to flow in. And that, I think, is what's going to happen.
August says, my facility has switched from phone lines to VoIP phones, too. When the internet goes out, the phones go out. And also, they don't have to have any built-in 911 functionality where you can also still make a phone call. It's crazy.
With the console space, probably not till like 2027 or 2028. But I think that you're going to see video game spending, especially in hardware, take a nosedive this year. And that's going to force the companies to start trying to get much more competitive.
Yeah. And they're only going to be competitive because they're going to bring down the prices back to reality, which is If they charge $1,200, they're going to be like, no, we're only charging $600 now, which is still an absurd amount of price for the consoles.
In order to win your dollar and win your engagement on their platforms, which I think long term will be good. Short term, it's going to be ass and super annoying because everything's going to be so expensive. But long term, I think it'll be okay.
Kind of broken gaming, where games from 10 or more years ago are still holding their own against new releases that have all the current tools available to them, is evidence of that. One of the firms that has declared Moore's Law.
Why do you think the companies are making remasters and stuff of games on the systems they have now? Because they know that people are not going to buy the new systems. They have to keep getting people that are already spending the money and keep them in the ecosystem. They're like, oh, well, why don't we do a remaster of this game? Why don't we do a remaster of that game? We don't want to make a new game. We want to keep the cost down as much as possible, make a remaster of this game, and these people are going to buy it again. A percentage of these people will buy it again.
Dead and buried is Nvidia, which, not being shy of putting its money where its CEO's mouth is, has been spending its vast R&D budget, thank you crypto bros, on coming up with ways to continue improving what their products are capable of in smarter and more targeted ways than simply increasing their raw power. Technologies like DLSS and ray reconstruction, for example, are designed to make extremely marketable features like ray tracing, 4K, triple-digit frame rates achievable on silicon.
See, I don't care about this type of stuff, personally. I can see the difference. Sure, I want faster frame rates, but I don't care if my garbage on the table is blurry or crisp. I personally don't. If my character moves better and the gunplay feels better and they've optimized the game, cool.
Which just doesn't have the raw numbers to do that sort of thing without cheating somehow. And the upshot is that noticeably better results are achieved with only modest increases in raw power. The goal is to do more with less, or to do a lot more with only a little more. Work smarter.
And you can train those super sampling models on supercomputers that are building out your same data center infrastructure that you can then use to go to investors and claim all of these advancements with your AI initiatives. So it makes investors happy. It lets you still pretend like things are getting way, way better regularly, even though it's just like software updates basically for DLSS and things like that. On average, I've noticed a decrease in performance in AAA games, particularly due to AI upscaling, which demotivates the devs to optimize their games. Hopefully we see a shift towards true optimization. Well, ultimately Composed, thank you for the 10.
You would think that companies, right, like Microsoft, like Sony, like Nintendo, because they're getting more people to play their games in more places, that because they're having more people, not less people, more people, that they wouldn't raise the prices of the stuff because they would have more people and they would make more money in the long run because more people are coming in, right? Like if I owned a restaurant and I charged $10, whatever it was, to come in, and I had 1 million people come in, but now I have 2 million people come in because I'm super popular, I don't need to charge $12 or $13 or $15. I could just continue charging $10, and people, now I have an extra 1 million people that are coming into my restaurant to buy the stuff. I'm making more money. I don't need to be super greedy. I can maintain what I'm doing because I'm making way more money, right? But there's a whole chain that goes in the process, right? Now that NVIDIA is raising their prices of their stuff and Xbox and Sony use their chips or RAM, they have to put it in the thing. They're like, well, they're charging us this much, so we have to raise our prices this much. And because we're raising our prices, we don't want to pay for it and take a loss. We're going to pass it over to the consumer, and the consumer has to pay for this. And they're going to do it because, reasons.
It's a managerial issue if they decide to launch in January versus in May, right? I'm sure the devs are always asking for more time. It's the management and the producers that decide when it goes up. If the managers and producers think that the upscaling stuff is good enough or will get the game to good enough, they'll do that. They'll push it out and be like,
yeah, it's called minimal viable product.
Okay, well, I can't tell a difference between super blurry and super sharp. So yeah, it's good. Ship it, which I think has happened with plenty of games. But if the devs have the time and the resources and they prioritize,
they never have the time. They never have the resources, so stop it.
And they are rewarded for doing so, then you'll see plenty of studios taking their time to optimize. Like plenty of people meme on AC Shadows. The game was pretty damn well optimized. Tell you what, even after the delay, they were able to add Steam Deck support. Virtually unheard of that a game gets delayed and they make so many optimizations that they're able to add Steam Deck support when they initially thought they weren't going to support.
Yeah, it's amazing that most companies will not optimize their game and then they go to another platform, which is a small percentage meaning 8-10 million people that own a Steam Deck. Do you know what I mean? And they're optimizing it for that, but yet on the regular system, they're still broke. Argus says, yes, Mike, which is one of the reasons why the inflation argument for video games not going up since a certain year. They can also reduce the cost of the process, making a physical game significantly. They ship games way more people, and games are mostly digital now. It's exactly right. Everyone's like, well, it's got to go up in price. It's got to. No, it doesn't have to go up in price. But they know that this ship can't keep sailing like the way it is. So they're trying to raise the price as much as possible for the incoming storm. And the incoming storm, which is the opposite of what happened in 2020, where everyone was stuck in their house. Now everyone is not stuck in their house, and our money is not going as far. So they're like, you know what? I don't need to play your video game. There's plenty of other things to do. I can watch YouTube. I can watch Netflix. I can go outside. I can do, like, it's opening up. They think that everyone's going to be depending on them. They're like, no, I don't need you. You can go right now. You can go buy a $50 handheld device that has 250,000 games on it if you wanted to. Temu or whatever else, right? 250,000 games on a $50 device. Not everybody needs to play the top end game.
That's awesome. That deserves credit. You don't have to like AC Shadows, but that is a good Ubisoft. Pat them on the head. Same with like KCD2. That game, they took their time. They optimized the crap out of it, which was a common point of feedback from the first game, was that it didn't run very well. And they made probably one of the most impressive optimized games of 2025. Ran fantastically well. And all of the freaking text sheet stuff that they put out, where it's like, these are the recommended specs, none of them included upscalers in those stat sheets. It was like, no, that's for extra frames. We're not hitting targets based on those. Don't be stupid. Like, it was awesome. Very refreshing. Veilguard too. Yeah. Veilguard, to their credit, they optimized the crap out of that game. There were other problems with that.
Yeah, just a bad game. You can optimize a shit game. Guess what? It's still a shit game.
Certainly that you couldn't optimize, but that one also deserves credit for being optimized. So I think that they really, like, the key is reward studios and games that take their time and polish, and punish
the reward is, hold on a second. Let me rewind what he just said there.
But that one also deserves credit for being optimized. So I think that they really, like, the key is reward studios and games that take their time and polish.
Yeah. Make a game, sell a game. If your game is good, you reward them by what, chat? Buying and playing their game. If the game is bad, then you don't buy and play their game until it is good.
And punish the studios and publishers that are rushing stuff out.
Well, it's not punishing them. It's just not buying it. That's not a punishment. We, the customer, get to choose if I want to play your game or not.
People punished Ubisoft for rushing Star Wars Outlaws out the door when it wasn't ready by not buying it. And you know what? Ubisoft responded by fixing it eventually, and then also by delaying.
Only because they got caught. They got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, trying to give a minimal viable product. Then you have the people that defended the game and said it was awesome. And I'm not going up against Steven here, right? Or Luke here. Right? People defended the shit out of Outlaws. Well, guess what? It was broke, and they fixed it. They should have fixed it before it launched, but they try to get away with it.
All of their other stuff so that they didn't run into the same problem with AC Shadows, with XA, and everything else. And that's the point. But I think the key is when there's other games that come out and they're not ready for prime time, don't buy them or return them or whatever.
No day one, no pre-order, no day one, no full price for a half-ass game.
To send the message that you're not going to tolerate it. That's the key. Continuing.
Not harder, all that. Which brings me to the last point. You are not Unreal 5's customer. The difference between Red Dead 2 and Mafia: The Old Country isn't just the span of time between them, it's the sheer scale and scope of the projects. Now, we know a lot less about Mafia's development story than we do about Red Dead 2's, by virtue of the fact that Mafia's only just come out, but we know enough to make a few educated guesses about the resources available to it. Mafia: The Old Country's developer, Hangar 13, took charge of the Mafia series in the mid-2010s, which led to its first release, the much maligned but honestly not that bad Mafia 3. Now, it's interesting that Mafia 3
I never played Mafia 3.
is probably the closest equivalent to Red Dead 2 in Hangar 13.
Who does the guy in the video work for? Which one? The one that Luke is watching? He works for Eurogamer, which is under IGN.
Entire back catalogue. It's a proper open world with all the side content and icon janitoring that implies, and just like Red Dead 2, it runs on a proprietary engine. Now, this was back when Hangar 13 was a bit bigger and had the resources to maintain its own game engine, and without getting too much into it, because hell this is already dragging
I believe he also has his own channel, if I'm not mistaken. We've watched him before.
on. Since those halcyon days, Hangar 13 has properly been through the ringer. We're talking huge, expensive projects getting cancelled, multiple layoffs. One of its 4 studios lost 2/3 of its people in one go at one point. The Hangar 13 that made Mafia the Old Country is a much skinnier beast than the well-resourced one that made Mafia 3 all those years ago.
Great. Great. Get rid of the fat. If you don't need it, trim it. Right? Trim it. If you prune your bushes and trees, it's much healthier, right? It's much healthier, right? You don't need all the fat, right? But then you have the people that defend when people get rid of people in studios. They're like, oh, they got rid of 5,000 people in the studio. Great. Were they doing something? We don't know. They're trimming the fat. They're getting rid of people because they don't need them. They can be better off if they just have a slim crew and then make something.
And that's why, instead of a full fat Mafia
You don't need 10,000 people making a video game. You don't.
4, we've had a remake of the first game, a linear mission-based experience, and The Old Country, which was marketed as a return to the series' roots, i.e. a much smaller, more focused experience. Not because of any artistic restraint, you understand, because it's cheaper to do that. Before you start typing, doing...
And it seems to have worked. It seems to have worked. I tweeted out the reveal. Let me see if I can find it. It was one. I tweeted it out. It's because they revealed that Mafia apparently like turned a profit. I think it was.
Great. And did it sell 20 million copies? No, it doesn't need to.
Is this it? Yeah. Mafia, the Old Country beat internal expectations, proves there's a market for narrative games done well, says Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick.
Yeah, great. Make a game, sell a game.
And this was in a broader discussion about a bunch of other stuff. But let's see. Yeah, they were kind of underwhelmed, I think, by Borderlands.
Borderlands 4 cost them a shit ton of money. Didn't hit their expectations. Mafia cost less and did meet their expectations because it didn't cost them fucking $400 million.
But other big game of the quarter for Take-Two Interactive was Mafia the Old Country, which beat the firm's internal expectations, and Zelnick says proves there's a market for narrative games done well. What we suspected was confirmed, which is just if you give consumers a great narrative experience that's a lot of fun, somewhat contained, and at a fair price, then you have the perfect result, which is great.
Which is exactly correct.
Right. And I agree. But
I'm telling you, man, I hope that GTA 6 comes out, just the game, just the standard game, not talking about the online. We've talked about this in the past. If Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, and it's at normal price, $60. Not 70, not 80, not 90, not 100. $60. The industry would cry. They would be that meme of the, like they would start crying because they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. They're like, no, you've completely shattered that. No, obviously they're probably not. Okay. I did say they would come out with like 60 or 70, and then with the online, it would be 90 to 100.
There were people saying that the game was bad because you couldn't swim. Like if those people that are doing that, that are saying these games are bad because they're not as good as Red Dead in these various regards, if they had their way, then like literally the only companies putting anything together would be the big AAA companies that can afford to swing for the fences with big budgets, but you end up with largely generic experiences that are meant to appeal to the mass market. If you want smaller, tighter experiences, you need to reward them when they come out, and the key is that they're unique and they're well done, and that they also are priced.
Well, the problem is if you have a game like Mafia Old Country, I don't know, chat, what was the full price of that game when it came out? Was it $70? For a smaller, tighter experience, if it's an 8-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour experience, that's too much money, in my opinion. Even though it's still the best value compared to other games, right? Here's a comparison. If I paid $60 for Red Dead Redemption 2 back in the day, and I could play for thousands of hours, or hundreds of hours of actual gameplay, but then I paid $70 for Mafia Old Country, and it's 12 hours, people look at that and go, it's a $50 game. I think it was charged $80 for the base game, and I'm not buying it. Right.
Appropriately. Like, I think if you price a game like, Mafia the Old Country at the same level as GTA 6, expectations will naturally be there.
Exactly.
But they didn't do that. They priced it lower to set the expectation that this is a smaller experience, and I think that helps along.
So was it cheaper? Was it $50, $60?
Before you start typing down there that Mafia 3 isn't as good as Red Dead either, what are you talking about, Jim? Well,
you can't compare the two directly.
Yeah, it's not. But even in their heyday, Hangar 13 was nowhere near as big or as rich as Rockstar. They never had the money to have one guy spend 6 months on making...
You know why people like Saints Row? The first Saints Row? Because it was comparing to Grand Theft Auto, when the Grand Theft Auto, what, 4? I was out, or was it 3? I think it was 4. Okay. When Saints Row came out, we're like, oh man, this is so good. It wasn't as big as Grand Theft Auto, but it was damn good. It says $49.99. Thank you. Right. It was great. And people were refreshed by it. They're like, oh, they weren't putting it up against Grand Theft Auto, like a 1-to-1. They were like, oh my God, this is so much fresh and cool the way they did this.
Force balls react realistically to wind chill. Only Rockstar can do that because they have more money than the mob, or God. Rockstar has the resources to build a hyper-realistic, reactive world the player has a convincing presence in.
Do I wear Western cowboy boots? No, I do not.
Well, and you got to remember, this is again why I've said watch out for these Chinese studios, dude. Because what is one thing that allowed them to build Red Dead the way that they did? That GTA money.
Of course.
The GTA Online money lets you do so many things that you just don't get to do otherwise, man. Because you just have an endless credit card. Like, you just unlimited. Crunch as well. They also have Crunch. But like some of the
all companies have Crunch. Every single one.
Crimson Desert stuff? Yeah, like this. Hold on. This was recorded on a potato.
Crimson Desert has been talked about for years.
Joystick Insider.
Yeah, but Crimson Desert had what's the other one? A black what was the other one they had? What's the other game that they do? I can't even think of the name now. The hell was their other game called? Chat will let me know.
There's a joke there.
Black Desert Online. Yeah, Black Desert Online. I got it out before Mr. Z did. Black Desert Online. Right? That's making money hand over fist. Of course, Crimson Desert's going to be looking good.
About putting a joystick inside of, you know what? It's not important. Like this game, I'm sorry to just mute. I'm just trying to look at a visual representation. I'm sure this is a great channel. I was like, I gotta see this. But like with this, people are like, how on earth is this possible? How is this possible? And it's because they have Black Desert Online money. They got that MMO money, and that allows them to lay, and
great. So Elder Scrolls Online, Bethesda has that money. So the next Elder Scrolls game should be amazing, right?
Rely on that money to fund everything they're doing, because even if Crimson Desert goes belly up for some reason, the company will still be okay because they got MMO money, baby. And that's true of a lot of these companies, like Blood Mess.
That's exactly right, Kylo. Right? Remember, the people that defend people working crunch time and overtime are the people that actually don't work for the company. It's the same people that kind of defend other people that don't actually do the thing, right? You know what people I'm talking about, right? They defend the people that actually don't actually do the work. They're not actually working, but they defend the people that are working overtime. They're like, oh my God, they're putting 60 to 70-hour days in or a week's in. Yeah, great. That's what people do when they work. Let me introduce you to my neighbor who's a mechanic and works 65 to 70-hour weeks. He's been doing it since he was like 30 years old, and he's like 65 now.
You know, this one, Blood Message, looks absolutely insane. This game is coming from a NetEase studio, a big Chinese development house. They built this out with NetEase money, and NetEase, historically, they've got a crap ton of resources and money flowing in from all sorts of live service games that they've built out in China, in Japan, all over the place. They're a huge, huge company that has tons of money flowing in from those live service.
Yeah, where's the articles written for you, Kylo, about working overtime?
Efforts, and that allows them to pour money into this with way less risk to the overall health of the company. That's one thing that Ubisoft used to have when they were more reliable with their releases. They haven't really been hitting it consistently out of the park like they used to. I mean, it used to be that Ubisoft was just pumping out AAA bangers pretty regularly like 10, 15 years ago. It's been a while, but now you're going to see it from a lot of these Eastern devs too. So I think that having that sweet live service money definitely helps.
Of course it does.
Big, very risky operations like a $1 billion or $500 million, open world game.
One of the most expensive games of all time with a budget in the hundreds of millions. An estimated 1,600 developers worked on it across all disciplines. Now, if everyone...
That's much lower than what an Assassin's Creed game is, isn't it? How many people worked on Assassin's Creed?
At Hangar 13 worked on Mafia: The Old Country, including like receptionists and accountants and all that. And that's quite an assumption. Its development team is less than 300 people. So that's...
Okay. Great. I think 300 was Starfield, right? I think 300 was like Elder Scrolls back in the day. I think 300, right? We do know there's companies that have 14 people like No Man's Sky or 30 people like Sandfall.
Less than a fifth of the team it took to make Red Dead 2. On a much longer turnaround, by the way. So look, even accepting...
If you break it down in man hours, dude, it's not even close. Like the amount of people multiplied by the amount of time, like it's a fraction of a fraction that made Mafia versus Red Dead 2.
Well, of course, if everyone's working 40-hour weeks and you have 1,600 people.
Like it's just not even close. But it's because they're trying to do different things.
The dubious idea that Mafia the Old Country doesn't look any more graphically advanced than Red Dead 2. The question...
But that's why I agree with him. It doesn't look like significantly, like a huge leap forward over Red Dead 2 graphically, despite being 7 years apart. But even that is pretty remarkable when you consider that now you're able to achieve this level of fidelity with a way smaller team way faster. Like that's where the leap was made. That's where the leap was made. It's just that's not as exciting for the player because we don't see the dev process. We don't see it taking, 2 or...
But also as a you're always going to get the criticism because as a customer, you don't care. I don't care. I don't care if the elk that I ate was in a state park or someone's land and someone went to go hunt it and then cut it open and then sliced it and processed it. I don't care. All I care as a customer is that I ate it and it was good. Right? It's not my business to care. You can care, right? But I don't care how it's made. I don't care what it took to get it. I don't care that the orange that you picked came from 3,000 miles away. I care about the price of the orange and is it good?
3 years versus 6 or 7. All we see is the end product. But that's why I think that pricing is so crucial. Like, I think that you really, really have to price it appropriately because if it took you less time and it's a smaller budget, if you price it at $50 instead of 70, that goes a long way. Sorry, I said 6, 7 again. God damn it.
Shouldn't be, how come this 7-year-old game beats this brand new one in direct comparison? The question should be, how the did Hangar 13 get anywhere close to Red Dead 2 with the resources
That's called technology. Technology.
it had? If it wasn't close, those guys wouldn't be comparing it. And yeah, part of the answer is that they didn't spend any time on inconsequential like fences breaking realistically when you shoot them, or
Right.
horse balls, or can't really think of anything else apart from horse balls. Now I'm kind of fixated on that. But the other part of the answer is
The horse balls.
that Hangar
Well, and that stuff does nothing but satisfy like the people who are making those.
It just makes the world more immersive. The people that give criticism for Mafia or any other game like this, where they look at it and say, oh, it's not as good as Red Dead Redemption. These are the small percent of people that go into Skyrim and have been playing 10,000 hours of Skyrim. And they're like, this is amazing. You can go talk to anybody. You can go collect everything in the game. You can do all these things. Okay. That's what it is. It's the immersion of it. Right? Like the Division, their map design is phenomenal in the Division and Division 2. Okay. But all the garbage there is not totally interactive with. It's just there. It looks good. Right? It's just to immerse you into the world. So people are upset when they play a game like Mafia and they're like, oh my God, this game is so gorgeous, so beautiful that they play it so much. And they play it so much, they start to get bored. And they're like, yeah, I wonder if I can hit the fence. And they hit the fence like, oh my God, it breaks. Or it doesn't break. And they're like, oh, it doesn't break. Right? Their immersion wasn't broke until they tried to break the fence. Do you know what I mean? They thought it was the wizard until they pulled back the curtain. And when they pull back the curtain, then they start to nitpick. Right? Like I said in the very beginning of this, as Luke said, when you find something, you like to nitpick and you start seeing other things. Same thing when you love something. When you love something, nothing can ruin it for you until it does. And then when you look behind the curtain, you're like, well, if that's fake, what else is fake? Right? So someone makes a YouTube video and shoots the wall and it doesn't break apart. And then they show you a thing where a game, it does break apart. Right? It's just the immersion of what it is. This game is not to make you live in the game for thousands of hours as Red Dead was. And the reason they made Red Dead the way it was is because not only is it Rockstar, they have more money, but they also had an online aspect of it. And the online aspect's different than the single player aspect. If they did just single player in Red Dead, they probably wouldn't have put as much detail. They would still put way more detail than anybody else does. But because they knew people would play for hundreds of thousands of hours inside the online, they're like, you know what? People are going to live in this game. So let's give them the most realistic game ever.
Comparison videos. And frankly, I think the average person just doesn't really care that much if you shoot the fence and it snaps in half versus if you shoot the fence and it has just a little bullet hole on it. I don't think people care that much. It's certainly cool, but that's probably like, oh, cool. I don't think the average person is like, I was gonna buy the game, but the fences don't break. You know, I don't think anybody said that.
I'm sure there's like 1%.
At all. I think what they were probably doing is when they are looking for a reason or they don't like the game for one reason or another, and then that offers a sort of affirmation of what they had already decided, which is it's a human thing to do, but it's I don't think indicative.
You guys ever buy like a used car or some sort of vehicle or anything used? If you really want that thing, you're going to look past all the scratches and dents and different things on the thing that you want, right? If you love something, you're like, oh man, I got this used bike. It's gorgeous. Like you look at it, you can see what it is, a house, right? You go into a house that's old and you can see the vision. You're like, I want this house because it is just gorgeous in your head. So other people can't see it, right? And then you fix it up and then you do stuff. There's people like that. Then there's other people that look and go, well, look at this door. This door's broke. You can't do anything with it, right? Look at that scratch on the car. You can't do that. Oh, well, right? If you're looking for problems, you'll find the problems. If you're looking for it to be good, you'll see the good in it.
Of qualities.
13, like lots of other studios, including CD Projekt Red, has switched entirely over to Unreal 5, which is not for your benefit or mine, frankly. It doesn't really matter to the end user which brush is being used to paint the picture, after all. All game engines have their pros and cons. I don't understand them because I'm not a game dev. And while a lot of Unreal Engine's marketing is aimed at punters like me and you, so it's splash.
Ray, I played Avowed. I played over 100 hours of Avowed. I thought Avowed was a good game. I didn't think it was a great game. But that game is not like a Skyrim, right? It's a much smaller game, but still a lot of fucking time in that game. So was I disappointed that I couldn't go in the water, right? And the water move or swim? Was I disappointed that the AI in certain towns only did a certain path? Sure. But did it make the game worse? No. No, it didn't. It just didn't. It wasn't as immersive when you played that game, when you played a different game.
Screen is mentally associated with good graphics and is therefore a mark of quality. Most of the recent marketing isn't so much about how great the games look. They're more about how much work the developer had to do to get there.
It's all about efficiency. Absolutely. Walter. Well,
Aaron says Avowed was a downright terrible game. Your terrible is completely different. A terrible game to me would be Gollum or King Kong. That would be a terrible game. Concord would be a terrible game. Avowed? No.
Alta, thank you for the 10. Imagine being the unfortunate Rockstar dev that had to work on immersive horse balls. I think Sam Hauser talked about that, and he's like, I didn't know that was in there, but it's probably not. I think Sam said he didn't, or Dan. I think it's Dan Hauser, right? I don't know. I think Sam and Dan, are they brothers? I don't know. It's a blur. Anyway, one of the Hauser brothers, he did that interview with Lex Friedman, and he was talking about the horseball thing, and he was like,
Altered says, not for you, but for someone who was looking for the next Skyrim, they were really disappointed with Avowed. Well, that's your problem. If you're looking for the next Skyrim that's not Skyrim, in a non-Skyrim game, I guess I would make you upset. The next Skyrim, I would hope that the next Skyrim is like the next Skyrim.
I don't think it would take necessarily that long to do, because you basically go into the horse agent within the engine, and then you add that as a thing that gets checked in the code once every 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Are you in this area? Check the temperature of the environment. If it's at this temperature, shrink it by this amount. Like, do that. So probably relatively straightforward, but it's kind of a fun idea. Fun idea to just, a guy was sitting at lunch and like maybe he came into the office one day. It's really cold out, and then he's like, what am I gonna do today? What am I gonna do? My God, I've got it. I'm going viral. Probably didn't even tell his boss about it. Just took care of it. Did it? Just like, we'll see if anybody notices.
If you look at Unreal's procedural time-saving technologies like Nanite, Lumen, or MetaHuman, the big innovations here are in automating or making obsolete the kind of busy work that developers used to have to do, such as producing level of detail assets or pre-baking light maps or pressing F5 to make it good. I don't know.
But they've chose to do this. You don't need to do everything that you just said right there. You don't need to make the lighting better. You don't need to make the little nano night type of stuff. They chose to do this. They chose to make stuff like this to make their jobs harder.
Game dev. The upshot of all this is that the ancient decrepit Red Dead 2 being able to hold a candle to Mafia the Old Country at all doesn't represent any kind of regression. It demonstrates that the art and technical direction of one of the most expensive games of all time was built to last. I should think so, frankly. It demonstrates that technologies like Unreal Engine 5 and others have democratized the kind of fidelity that 7 years ago could only be achieved with bespoke technology and a bigger wage bill than Real Madrid, and that the economic feasibility of AAA game development is undergoing a massive rethink because it's just not as sustainable as it was in its 2018 form unless the end product is guaranteed to make $1 billion. Far from
True.
Krabby, you can't have a conversation with people that didn't play the game. They just know what they were told. And which is fair, because if you don't like the game, you don't buy the game or play the game. But to ask somebody what was woke about the game that didn't play the game, they're not going to know.
It's just changed. But I think that absolutely what he's pointing out, like with the democratization of that level of fidelity, it's something we've grown used to. But you know, the little touches and the attention to detail, that is something that you can't just like have a better engine to achieve.
Adamfall didn't get the hate because it was well priced. Wasn't Avowed only $50, or was that a $60 game? I don't know. I played it on Game Pass. Was it a full-fledged game, a full-price game, Avowed?
That's something that either like you need more people or more time or both. Realistically, both. And it's something that they're able to do with Red Dead 2 with the budgets and timescales they have.
I also played Adamfall on Game Pass, so it was $80. No, it wasn't $80. It was 70.
Makes sense for like a smaller team of 100 people that's trying to put together a 2 or a AA kind of game. You know, it's just not where they're focused.
And once I was done with Avowed, I said $50, right? I said I wouldn't pay more than $50 for it.
And I think that's good. I think that's okay. We need more AA games, frankly, than we need more attempts at big AAA games. Personally, just my opinion. Cancel me. I don't care.
being a regression, it is technological progress. It's just not the kind that brings your wee brother closer to his ideal of ultimate photorealism, where you push the bayonet slowly into somebody's throat and then have to go to therapy.
Well, I think that this is also one of the other things that happens with Red Dead. You know how like on a scatter plot, you can have the all of the little points of, I don't know if this would be like quality, if we say like the vertical is quality, but you got all these random little plots, and it's like over time, you know, it's kind of like this with quality and budgets and all this, and maybe some of them have massive budgets if this is like the budget scale, but you know, terrible quality. Some of them are right in the middle, but then you have like Red Dead 2, which is just like all the way up the top.
You're basically, his example is you're comparing the top of the top to everything else.
It is clearly the outlier, but everybody is pointing to the outlier to try and make a rule for the data set, which is not how that works. The general rule of the data set is either you take in the average or look at the broader group to come up with what should be expected. Red Dead 2 is the outlier, but everybody tends to try and point to it as the rule. And so it's much less like when we look at Red Dead 2 and games like GTA 6, and we find them so remarkable, it's less of a bad mouthing for the whole industry and more of a testament to how remarkable Rockstar is. You know, it's less about putting down everybody else and more about praising Rockstar for being so fantastic. You know, is that a Banksy?
Mafia the Old Country is a bit of an experiment. Can a studio make rent by knocking out these smaller games? Focused experiences that have
Oh my god, did you see what was on his...
I said I'm okay with games being 12 to 15 hours long. Like, you price those 12 to 15 hour games at like $40-50, I would be okay with that. But if you're charging $80 for those types of games, it's not going to happen.
Computer on his monitor.
Studio make rent by knocking out these smaller...
Did you see? I need one of those, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. I need one of those. That's great.
Focused experiences that have AAA production values, but without the AAA statistics and, crucially, without the AAA price point. Is there an audience for that? Or do too many people habitually believe they're being shortchanged unless they're literally playing a Rockstar game? Only time will tell, but I'll leave you with this. I'm very suspicious of a lot of these outlets that obsessively compare Red Dead 2 or whatever to newer games, because it's always...
I don't know why you would do that to yourself. Why you would compare the top of the top game to every other game, right? Again, if Red Dead 3 comes out, you would then compare Red Dead 3 to Red Dead 2 and go, oh, well, they didn't do it as good as Red Dead 2.
It's pretty clear that the point isn't to compare and contrast the differences between old games and modern ones in a sort of academic way, but to deliberately feed the notion that in recent years, gaming has fallen off, that there's no passion in the industry anymore, that all the talent is left and been replaced with political activists because their engagement depends...
Well, there is truth to that. I wouldn't say all, considering there's 19,000 games, And you could have 100, 200, 300 games be activist games. And then you can have 5,000 games that are garbage and lazy people making games. And then you have the rest.
Depends on the impotent anger and malaise that characterizes the information dystopia era that we currently live in. The sense that everything was better before. Before what? Before when? Well, I just want to go back. Back where? Back when? Well, when I had light in my eyes and I still had my whole life ahead of me and I could go out with my mates whenever I wanted and I didn't have responsibilities and debt and life wasn't an endless meander from one disappointment to the next. I could still see my Taja. And Red Dead 2 had just come out. I was only asking.
I think it's also, and the reason why we should kind of buck the trend and the feeling is because if you start to look at everything as though everything sucks and the industry's terrible and your favorite hobby is dying and all this, you will start to see it.
Again, as we started the video, we'll end the video, right? If you look at everything as rose-tinted glasses and you think everything is fantastic in the industry, then you do not see the problems with the industry. So this is why I'm in the middle. I see the problems. I see the good. I see the bad, right? These are the facts of life. The facts of life. Okay? Like, if you love everything, then you're never going to see a problem. You're just like, da-da-da. You're just like this, going through the world, right? But if you also hate everything, you're also going to see all the bad without seeing any of the good. And then there's me, where you see the good and you also see the bad. And you see the people in the industry that are trying to pull one over on your eyes, okay? They're trying to get around with lazy development and put a game out there to try to get you to buy it, right? I see all of this, right? You shouldn't just look at it as everything is perfect and these are the greatest games you've ever seen. You should also look at it and go, this is not the worst we've ever had, ever, right? There's good and there's bad. And it's my job, okay, as a customer, to find what's good and what's bad. Just like it's your job to find what's good and what's bad. And what's yours good and what your bad is compared to my good and what your bad is, or my bad is completely different for each person, right? So if you buy something and then all of a sudden you're pissed off because the thing is a piece of shit, that means you didn't do your due diligence to try to find if it's a good game or not. You bought into it because someone told you it was good or bad.
Everywhere, and everything will just be a confirmation of it. And how all social media works right now is whatever you are looking into and watching, you'll be fed more of it. So then you'll just go into this spiral of everything sucks, everything's bad, you shouldn't be excited, you shouldn't be
exactly,
everything's awful, and it just spins and spins and spins. Like, it's why I make these videos saying, no, I think it's probably never been a better time to be a gamer. Maybe with how much RAM price.
I don't know if it's the best time to ever be a gamer, but I'll tell you what, there's some experiences out there that are just fucking mind-blowing. And then there's other ones you're like, what a piece of shit.
They're going up, I'll say last year. Maybe last year. There's never been a better time to be a gamer. This year might be rough. But, I think that the industry is like bigger than it's ever been. There's more talent involved with it. The tools are more.
Yes, it's bigger than it's ever been. It's greedier than it's ever been. There's people that are also trying to take advantage than there's ever been before.
More accessible to anybody. Game of the Year last year was a first-time title from a brand new studio using a publicly available game engine that you can use and download right now. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's a very good time. Are there going to be flops? Sure. Are there going to be disasters that we're going to talk about? You betcha.
Of course.
But let's not lose the forest for the trees, Let's bear in mind that with some broader perspective, things are very, very good.
That's why I kind of like watching Luke every once in a while, because he is side of the middle, right? He's cynical, right? He looks at stuff and he doesn't just look at it for the good or the bad. He in between each of the stuff.
Very, very good. Try to look at things with a little more optimism, a little more brightness, and I think you'll end up having a much better time.
Coming from someone with skepticism, which he has a lot of.
Because for every game that maybe some people might look at like a Mafia, the old country, and be disappointed that it's not like Mafia 3. The other way to look at it is that we got a new unique Mafia story in a tighter package from a studio that at most other companies would have been canceled.
And the next Mafia that comes out, let's say it's Mafia Old Country 2, if they hit the bar of Mafia Old Country, right, for the next sequel and go just a little bit above, that is good in my opinion, right? But if they make Mafia Old Country 2 and it's below what Mafia Old Country was, well, then that's a loss.
And the studio would have been shut down years ago. You know, I don't like positivity. I have to reset my algo now. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that there's a balancing act to be had. I've said it. Yeah, we meme on stuff. We make fun of stuff. And when something is bad, we'll call it out as bad. But I think sometimes people, I guess, mix that up with, therefore, everything's terrible or everything sucks. I'm like, no, this thing sucks, but all this is great. You know, I want to be clear. The reason this one feels like it sucks so bad is because how good this stuff is.
Again, you can do the opposite. This is so good, but look at all the stuff that sucks. I guarantee you there's way more bad than good in the 19,000 games that came out last year. Just saying.
You know, it's just a slightly different way of framing it. The AAA devs are disconnected. A lot of them don't play games or know what they're doing. Of course, I can't speak for every AAA dev. I don't think you can either. Anybody can. What I will say is, of the people that I've spoken to, that is not true. Of the people I've spoken to that have worked on like some of the big stuff, like the people I met working at Bungie, a lot of them were obsessed with Tarkov. Shocker, they're making an extraction shooter. You know, a lot of the people at like Ubisoft that I've met and talked to, they were super into like hardcore RPGs or other games. Maybe with some case, like
if that's true, and then they made the game that they made, and I have questions.
There's the memes of the Call of Duty devs where, what was it? Was it a cat cafe? Hold on. I think it was a cat cafe meme, wasn't it?
One of my favorite things in the map is the cat cafe. There's a karaoke bar, which is a lot of fun. Those is call outs. It's like, I got him in the cat cafe. That's gonna be one of my...
Like, that is stupid. That is very stupid to be like, what's your favorite part of
the cat cafe? Yeah.
This Call of Duty thing. The cat cafe. Like, you should know that you're going to get flamed for that. Okay. Like that is stupid. So I'm sure there are people out there working in AAA game development that are not really gamers and are there for the cat cafes.
100%.
But I think that
there's also people in the industry that don't give two shits about gamers, and they're there about the money. They're investors, they're CEOs, they're people that run the companies, and they're just there because they go, hey, look at all these people I can make money off of. And that's what they do.
Vast majority of devs are passionate gamers that want to make the best game they can. You know, does that mean they'll make the game you want? Not necessarily, but I think it's a bad idea to just dismiss them writ large because that's easy.
Right. How bad is your game if the thing that they're like the most is a cat cafe? It's very true. Very true, Altern. All right, Luke Stevens' video, where his link to his channel is down below. The last one we're going to watch is much shorter. It's CES. CES is Cyber News is the channel. The channel is linked in the description down below. We're going to watch what's happening. This is the media day for the media at CES. We're going to see some of the new tech that's coming out so far of CES.
Okay, guys, we're at CES Unveiled before the actual convention begins to see what awesome startup gadgets we can find. Let's go in. So what do we got here? What's on me?
So this is a wearable ChatGPT. It's like a ChatGPT.
A wearable ChatGPT. If you guys like what I do here, by the way, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Appreciate it very much.
But on your neck. You put it on your neck once in the morning and it will summarize your entire day. It will create action items for you and memories. Let's say you forgot something. Let's say you need to walk a dog. It will remind you of that. People love it. People use it. 300,000 users total. That's kind of it.
What's the difference between that and this? What's the difference? What's the difference between this and what that is right there?
Is it listening all the time or do you have to trigger it to
listen? It listens all the time. You can
It listens all the time. Well, I guess your cell phone does the same thing, so why not?
And press a button to ask it a question, but it will listen the entire time.
Talk to me about how this is different than a device like a Plod or a Humane AI pen. How's this different?
Firstly, it's open source. Plod is closed source. You don't know where your data is actually stored. And the second one is this apps marketplace. So we have 2,000 different apps, and you can do whatever you want with them. You can like send Slack events.
Yeah, but how do I know those apps are not selling my information?
Or you can like create GitHub issues if you're a developer, and many, many more.
So the transcripts that are collected by the Omni.
I don't hate AI. I use AI every single day of my life, but I also don't use it in the same way that they use it for.
Are then seamlessly sent to these
Yes,
apps.
yes, but only with your authorization. So you can install app means you authorize to share your data with them.
Have you ever looked at your Amazon Echo and thought, I wish this thing was made of wood? Well, then the MUI Lab may just be the product for you. What is MUI Lab and what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so
That's nice little design.
we're a smart home company from Kyoto, Japan, and we specialize in making comm technology devices. So this is our smart home controller called the MUI board. It's a wooden screen that has LEDs underneath it. So it's a really nice alternative to like really, glaring screens that we have all around us. So this is basically like a calmer aesthetic alternative that you can put in your home, and it works with all your devices. We're focusing a lot around sleep and how to have a calmer sleep. We're basically...
You want to have better sleep, chat? Here's how you have better sleep. Are you ready? Are you ready? Go to fucking sleep. Stop using electronics right before you go to bed. Don't watch television. Don't use your cell phone. Don't use your iPad. Don't use your laptop. Just go to sleep. When you can't go to sleep, it's because your brain is so stimulated by all the other shit that you've been doing. Just go to sleep. When it's time to go to sleep, you go to sleep. Not 10 seconds. You're watching your phone, doing all this stuff. You want to have a good night's sleep? You fucking just go to sleep. But you don't want to go to sleep. You want to watch YouTube. You want to watch, TikTok. You want to check your emails. You want to do all the other stuff.
Measures your heart rate, your resting heart rate, and your breaths per minute. It'll track your sleep at night and then give you a custom report the next day.
Is it doing that with sensors or temperature sensors or cameras, or how does it do it?
Yeah, so it's a built-in sensor actually. It's called millimeter wave. You don't need to go to sleep with your smartwatch or your mattress sensor, right? It just in an ambient way tracks your sleep.
Actually, quite a lot of tech baked into.
If you get this, you're going to be constantly checking this. Right? You're going to constantly be checking this. What was my sleep? Did I sleep? How did I sleep? Just go to sleep. I can go to sleep right now. I can go to sleep right now. I'm out. Right? That's all I want to do. If I want to go to sleep, I go to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah. Quite a lot. So can I get this right now, and what's it cost?
Certainly can, yeah. So it's on both on our online store. We have like a Shopify and then an Indiegogo in demand campaign. The price point right now is $7.99. And it ships within like 2 to 3 weeks of when you order. So we ship mostly in the US.
All right, perfect, dude. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it. So this is Magitique, a company that can make any pair of glasses smart glasses.
All right. Interesting. Just another way of ChatGPT on your eyewear.
So what is Magitique?
Right here. This is the entire device. It tracks your eyesight. Right now, he's currently watching a...
Tracks your eyesight. So it's programmed to know that it's like 1.5 inches off your face. So it converts that into that it is your eye. And then basically it's going to stare at everything that you're staring at and then give you feedback of what you're staring at. Is that what it is?
The basketball game, just by looking at a specific player, it's able to tell you the player's name, the stats, all the information that you want to find out about. That information...
That sounds fucking annoying. That sounds annoying. You just have somebody just talking at you and telling you what's going on the entire time. It's like playing Horizon Zero Dawn, where she's constantly just talking out loud.
Is customizable. So let's say I only want to say players' names, that's what's going to show up. There's an AI software in here that you're communicating with. We're actually also working on glasses where you could see the information on the glasses. But for the time being, this is the device, and you communicate with it.
The way it works, you said it's compatible with any number of different companies.
Any smart device.
Any smart device.
Yes.
What exactly is in that?
So there is a microphone, there is a camera. Again, you're communicating with it. So the camera is looking at what you're looking at, and it's also they're tracking your eyesight. And the microphone is so that you can communicate back and forth with it.
Now, obviously, other companies like Meta have glasses with the functionality baked into it.
Yeah, but they're very expensive, and this is very inexpensive, and you can use it on any pair of glasses that you own, so it's very versatile.
What's your sales pitch for why this is a better solution?
All our technology is patented, so whatever we specifically do, no one out there can do. You know, without talking.
I don't give a shit about that as a customer. I don't care as a customer that you've patented everything and nobody else can do what you do. I have no interest in that. How is your product better than anything else?
Like about other companies, but this is all protected. This is just so you can have a home, so you can understand more, so you could search up whatever that you want to learn about it within the comforts of just your...
I have a phone. Why do I need this? I have a phone. Why do I need this?
So what kind of AI do you have integrated into this adorable...
Man, the animatronics are crazy on that.
Doggy AI. All right, so this is Sweet Car, the world's first AI pocket pet, or the Tamagotchi reinvented for...
Garbage. I don't even know what it does yet. Garbage.
2026. So can you tell me what it can do?
Actually,
Waste of space. That's what it does. Waste of space.
it can grow up like a classical pet racing game design. It can hatch up from an egg.
So you're raising this
Oh my God.
thing from a baby all the way to an adult.
Yeah, a baby and teeny stage and to the adult stage.
Let me get this correct. What am I going to do? Are these people going to buy something that they don't want to be parents, but they're going to have a fucking toy to be a parent to? Make it make sense for me, chat.
It's got to pat its head a little bit, give it a little positive reinforcement, and it grows up.
They have the level. Yeah, I do use XP to grow up.
Did you take any inspiration for the Tamagotchi
Yeah,
with this?
of course.
Of course, we ripped it off completely. It's 30 years later. We just wanted to do something different, which is the exact same as it was before.
What information is it remembering about you to become a customized pet just for you?
The first is game information, and the second is what you said. The context view shapes the MBTI also. Third is it has a render. It can detect.
And you could customize it with the different clothes for different days of the week.
You just show up and have you detect you and say hello to you.
So if I walked into the room with a friend, it would recognize me, but not my friend. It would know.
Yeah.
So
Wow, so good, groundbreaking.
me is Nico, an AI pet, and the first one I've ever heard of being able to express jealousy. What do we got going on here? Who is this?
It is our AI pet.
We are cooked as a society. We are cooked as a society. Why do I want this creepy thing on my table, counter, shelf?
Named Nico, you can say hi Nico, greet to him, and it will show some emotions. It can show emotions like
This thing can show emotion like an actual person or a friend or maybe a dog or a cat.
happy, sad, hungry, jealous, and so on. Like if you touch another pet, it will feel jealous. And
Wait, what did she say there? Hold on, let me put the captions on there for a second. Emotions like happy, sad, hungry, jealous, and so on. That's what I want. I want a robot that's jealous.
like if you touch another pet, it will feel jealous.
If you touch other pets, it will feel jealous. That's when I pick the thing up and I boot it out. I boot it out and say, you want to be jealous? You're outside now.
And if you return home, it will come to greet you.
Wow, so this is...
Man, people are... Chat, if you're lonely, reach out to a human. Anybody. Just make a friend. You don't have to make lots of friends. Just make a friend. You don't... If you're coming home, and you're waving to a robot in your house and then talking to it so you can express yourself, get a fucking animal. Get some responsibility. Feed it, walk it, get out, do something. Do not get one of these things.
The first AI home companion that shows jealousy, huh?
Yeah, that's cool. It can also identify the different faces, different voices.
Wow, okay.
And different gestures.
This means dance, Nico, dance.
Yes, this means love you. Love you. There's a camera over here and some sensors.
Look, I didn't like Teddy Ruxpin when I was a kid. This is Teddy Ruxpin on a different level.
Over the belly.
So AI Tails is a real-time cat health monitoring system that tells you if your cat is in pain. It's like an Apple Watch for your cat. So tell me about the technology baked in here. What do we got and how does it work?
So as soon as the cat approaches the station, it activates the fountain. Then we measure the amount of...
Well, you probably don't want to give your cat Reese's Pieces. That'll probably kill it.
water and food it eats and drinks. We also measure the temperature of the cat, and with the camera we can make a facial.
So now, all right, let's just reenact our day here with all of this AI stuff. All right, you wake up in the morning, you're like, I just started my day. Let me get my ChatGPT necklace, put that on. Let me touch my ChatGPT bed to let me know what I was doing with my actual thing. Let me get up. Oh, hi, creepy fucking bear. How are you? Yeah, how are you? Oh, Tamagotchi. Oh, how are you? That's so great. Then you go over to your cat. How you feeling today, cat? Oh, your temperature's hot. And you're checking more things. You're not relaxing. You're not doing anything. Your whole day is taken up by checking fucking numbers. How's this? Who is this? Let me check the numbers here. You got your glass thing over here. Holy Christ, are we in trouble? Do you know what I do after this? Nothing. Nothing. I get off and I go do stuff out in the nature.
Analysis of the cat's expression, and with that we see really fast if the cat has pain and also if a disease is coming. So you see now with the food and water.
Does this woman, I don't even think this woman has, maybe she has cats. She has cats. She seems a little high stress though.
Analysis of the cat's expression, and with that we see really fast if the cat has pain and also if a disease is coming. So
she definitely has more than one cat.
you see now with the food and water, and no food and water was consumed, we see the temperature and also if the cat is healthy or not.
So is this paired with an app that then collects the data that you can output?
Yes, so all the data we collect here, it's also displayed in the app. And also if we see an anomaly, we alert the cat owner proactive. It's actually like a smartwatch for the cat, just in a eating and drinking station.
Well, I think I know what's wrong with this cat. It's been eating Reese's Pieces.
It's exactly right. It'll die in a little bit.
That is not healthy.
That's okay.
We should not do that in the future. So you mind explaining, what do we got here? What is this?
Our brand is called the
I thought that was a little kid for a second. Okay, mind explain what we got here? This is our brand. It's called?
And it's the world's first smart hair
It's called Glide, and it's the world's first smart
clipper.
hair clipper.
Is connected with the feed band, and you can see this blend push out. When you put it up forward, and then you can see this blend changes the length automatically. This we call it auto fade tag.
So are you programming hairstyles into that? Is that what you're doing, or what are you doing?
You can choose specific. You can choose.
I don't know what to say about this. There's literally things that do this for you right now. It's called a clipper, and the clipper has different guards on it, and it's numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And you put it on your clipper, and then you put it up to your head, and when you do this, it cuts your hair. It cuts your hair. It doesn't cut more than your hair. It only cuts the length that you want.
Your hairstyle on our app. Yes, you can also.
Is everything an app? Everything's a goddamn app.
Edit it.
And then what does the real-time AI coach do?
You can also download your photo, and then you can give you
How much is this?
some of the suggestion of your hairstyle.
Behind me is Kamingo, a company that has an e-bike converter that can turn any bike into an e-bike in just seconds. It was getting.
All right, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Was it just a hub? Oh, I see it. It's in the back of the wheel. But it probably only works with certain wheels.
Getting a ton of attention on Kickstarter and also won a CES Innovation Award, so we were pumped to check it out. There are already a lot of e-bike products on the market right now. What makes your company different than the ones that came before?
Nothing. Nothing makes it different. We just have a smaller piece that goes in the back gear, which if you go uphill will probably put a lot of strain on that.
Without the bulky e-bikes, without the bulky items, etc., we can just put our e-bike system on any regular bikes.
She looks like an Android. I think she's an Android, Aaron.
First time, 10 minutes, but later, like 10 seconds.
First time, 10 minutes. After that, 10 seconds. Okay?
Motor here, battery here, and the controller here, and a pedal sensor here.
Where's my water bottle go now?
And we have like 3 modes, like cruise mode, when you push the throttle, and it just goes like east.
Why didn't you connect the battery to the back pipe there instead of where the water bottle goes?
We also have assist mode. When you pedal, it just gives.
It's a big ass battery for that.
you a random.
I'm gonna rewind just so I can hear her for a second.
And the controller here, and a pedal sensor here. And we have like 3 modes, like cruise mode, when you push the throttle, and it just goes like e-scooter. We also have assist mode. When you pedal, it just gives you a right amount of power. We also have the standby mode, where this motor just can go up if you just want original biking experience.
I do think that stuff like this is cool, because as more people don't buy cars because cars are ridiculous, and more people are not living far away from where they work, and that more people are using bikes and stuff now, obviously riding a bike is very healthy for you, and you're pedaling and stuff. But at the end of your 8-hour shift or 10-hour shift, and you're coming home, or you got groceries on your bike or whatever you're doing, stuff like this is actually really nice, especially if you're going uphill or whatnot, so you're not excruciating yourself, So I think stuff like this is really cool. This is probably the first cool thing we've seen so far in this whole video.
What part of the design do you think won you the Innovation Award?
Our product can make you switch from bike to e-bike during your ride. You could just switch our standby mode, and you just maintain original biking experience as it is. Our product's like snap-on design, and you can take it on and
What's the price of this thing? That's what I want to know.
off in seconds. Like this one, you could just take it out like with a snap. And the battery, very easily.
What's the state of the product right now?
We're not yet ready for retail, but we'll be ready later this year.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for your time. I wish you luck.
It's not even out yet.
Is it possible to create a better knife? Well, that's exactly what Seattle Ultrasonics.
I swear to God, chat, if this fucking knife has an app, I'm going to lose my mind.
C200 set out to do.
This is the C200 by Seattle Ultrasonics. It's the world's first handheld ultrasonic chef knife that's ever been made. This is battery powered, and then there are piezo ceramic crystals inside. And when it's on, the piezo ceramic crystals send energy into the blade that make the metal of the blade itself constrict and contract over.
The fuck? So the blade is you can't see it, but it's like vibrating
30,000 times a second. The whole point of the ultrasonics is, one, you use up to 50% less force, and two, the ultrasonics make the knife behave sharper than it actually.
I don't know where to go with this. Battery powered knife. Yeah, because it's vibrating. You got to charge your knife now.
I think it's time to put up or shut up here. Let's see this thing. I want to see this thing in action.
So it's only on. You have to actively hold the button. You will feel nothing in the handle.
So now with the button pressed. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's not the way it works. It doesn't shake.
Why is he holding the knife like that? Does he ever cut stuff?
All right, here we go. Yeah, maybe a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Hey.
He can't tell.
Yeah, hang on.
That looked pretty smooth to me.
And I like that we're using a potato too, the notoriously hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about this product's availability and
How do you activate it? You got to go to the app.
its price point.
Yeah, so this is available only at SeattleUltrasonics.com. We are a very, very small company. The knife is $3.99, and we also have.
Hold on. The thing says $3.99. Not $3.99. It says $3.99. It's $3.99.99. It's got to be $400, which I'll be honest with you is just like cost of a really good regular knife.
The wireless charging tile, separate, but it will charge your knife for you, so you can hang it in your kitchen, and that way it's always charged up and ready to go.
Pebble is back on.
Thank God there was no app. Thank God there was no app. Because I was about to lose my shit if there was an app for a knife.
On the scene after a nearly 2-decade hiatus with 2 products that are absolutely blowing up right now online. The Index 01, which is the cheapest smart ring on the market, and the Round 2, which is an e-ink display round watch.
This is our update on.
First of all, I can see a shit ton of people making videos on that knife, just to see if it cuts easier through the actual thing. It's like a whole Mythbuster thing. If you have a vibranium, not a vibranium, what did she say? The vibration of the knife where it cuts through stuff, it makes it easier. That alone's gonna get people to talk about it. 3 easy payments of $299.
The original Pebble Time round that we came out with in 2015. So this is V2, and you could see how different they look. First of all, the screen now takes up the entire front face of the.
Amazing. I know so many people that have watches that don't even know how to use the watch they wear. They just wear it because it's an accessory. Not because they want to know how to tell time or use it for texting or anything like that. They just have a watch just because it looks nice.
Watch. So it's the number one thing that we had questions about. Second is that the battery life is now 2 weeks. Yeah, with the screen on always.
And that screen right there, is that e-ink as well?
It's an e-paper screen, so it's a color e-paper screen. The big thing about this is that it doesn't try to be too much. Like many of the other smartwatches out there, I love them, but they just try to do everything that your phone does. That's not about Pebble. Pebble's about...
It tries to do everything your phone does, and nobody uses it for anything but a watch.
Showing you notifications, showing you time, letting you control your music, showing cool watch faces. There's a few apps for it, and the price, it's $199.
I want to go to a convention and just have a regular watch, and someone comes up to you and goes, "What is this?" "This is called a watch. It just tells time." And they're like, "Well, what else does it do?" And you're like, "Nothing. It just tells time." "So how do I check my notifications?" "It just tells time." "Well, how do you tell the time?" "By looking at it." You just look at it. Nothing. It doesn't track. It doesn't track you. It doesn't notify you. It doesn't do anything. It just tells time.
For this, $225 for this.
How about the Index?
Okay, hold on 1 second.
You control your music, showing...
Control my music? Oh my God.
Cool watch faces. There's a few apps for it, and the price...
A few apps. Of course there's apps.
It's $199 for this, $225 for this.
$199 and $225 for this. Okay.
How about the Index 01 while we still have you? What's that?
That's a new idea. So I have this problem. I get ideas during the day, or I remember things.
They made a ring. I know what he's going to say. He has a ring on his finger. Because I noticed it here. Hold on. I noticed it when he was doing this right here. You can see his ring. It has a little nub, which is a button. I guarantee you this is what it is. He's going to push the button, and then he can make a memo. That's it. Which, it would be so hard if he could just do this and memo. Let's go back to what we were at now.
How about the Index 01 while we still have you? What's that?
That's a new idea. So I have this problem. I get ideas during the day, or I remember things, and if I don't write them down that second, I'll just forget them. Does this ever happen to you?
Of course.
Of course. Yeah. So I need a button to push.
All the time.
Exactly. So I find that I'm always taking out my phone. That's the whole product. It records it, it sends it to your phone, and you have this feed we call the index of all the things that you've remembered. It's perfect for setting reminders, setting alarms. I always like asking people, hey, what book have you read recently?
Set a reminder.
What book do you like?
I just recently went through a couple Daniel Woodrell books, like the author of Winter's Bone and Woe to Live On. Those are my most recent. Yeah.
So I would, it's not your fault, but I would probably not have remembered that. There's just all these things happening, but now I've got a memory there.
He's a Green Lantern fan. He's got to be. He's got to be a Green Lantern fan. He's talking to his ring.
And it's going to add it to my book list to check out. So it's $75. The big thing about this is that the battery life lasts for years.
The battery life lasts for years. Well, yeah, because it's only one button.
You never have to charge it. So it
never have to charge it.
Has memory here in case your phone's not in range, but if your phone's in range, it sends it to your phone as well.
All right, chat. We're going to watch a lot more CES stuff as it comes out this week. So that's there was only one good product I saw the entire time in that video, which was the e-bike. Everything else was just garbage. So, what would you guys, if you had to buy something, what would you buy? Out of all those things, I know a lot of you would buy the Tamagotchi ripoff. Never did in chat. Fusion power is real. So there you go. A pet. Yeah. The fucking apps, man. The app of the app of the app. Amazing. Let me see if something else is. It was 12:34. CES. Oh, what is this? 9 days ago. AI CES 2026 is insane. Here's what's coming. We gotta watch this. I'm gonna watch this. Let's watch this.
CES 2026 is coming in hot, and a lot of the best parts are already out in the open. The reason this one feels bigger than a normal CES cycle comes down to one thing. The show is getting dominated by systems that actually do work in the physical world. Robots, on-device AI, sensing, autonomy, and the compute stack that powers all of it. And there's enough confirmed and teased material in the last few weeks to build a full video that feels packed, not padded. All right, so let's start with this. Hyundai Motor Group has confirmed that it will unveil its AI robotics strategy at CES 2026. They've scheduled a dedicated Hyundai Media Day on January 5th in Las Vegas, running from 1 to 1:45 p.m. Pacific time. According to Hyundai, this
Boston Dynamics, I saw a video of this.
presentation will focus on human-robot collaboration, manufacturing innovation, and how robotics fits into the group's broader production and logistics systems. Hyundai has said this strategy ties directly into its group value network and its software-defined factory approach. That includes how robots are developed, trained, deployed, updated, and managed.
Why are we so fascinated in making robots look like humans?
Across different environments. They've also confirmed that the presentation will be live streamed and that the CES show floor experience will continue from January 6th through 9th at the Las Vegas Convention Center. As part of the same CES presence, Hyundai has confirmed that Boston Dynamics will publicly debut the next generation Atlas robot at CES for the first time. This is the first time the new Atlas is being shown on a public stage. Hyundai has said Atlas will be featured during the Media Day presentation and also demonstrated on the show floor. In addition to Atlas, Hyundai has confirmed that live demonstrations will also include Spot and Mob ED. According to Hyundai, the booth will feature interactive scenarios, a recreation of its robotics research environment, and hourly presentations explaining how these robots are used in real environments. MobED specifically is described as a compact mobility platform designed to carry sensors, equipment, or payloads across uneven terrain using AI-based navigation and perception. Next, moving from industrial robotics into the home. LG Electronics has announced that it will showcase its new home robot.
I saw this as well.
Called Clo ID at CES 2026. Clo ID is built with 2 articulated arms, and each arm has multiple degrees of freedom. Each hand has 5 individually actuated fingers designed for object handling and manipulation. LG has said the robot includes a head module with a display, cameras, microphones, speakers, and additional sensors for navigation and interaction. Clo ID runs on LG's Affectionate Intelligence software layer, which is designed to support voice interaction, contextual awareness, and task execution. According to LG's announcement, CES 2026 will be the first public showcase of Clo ID. The company has positioned it as a home assistance robot capable of interacting with household objects, opening doors and cabinets, handling laundry items.
But can it feed my Tamagotchi? And will it kill it or not?
And supporting basic daily tasks. LG has tied the showcase to its broader CES theme focused.
Can it sit in front of my computer for me and play CSGO?
On home automation and assistance. Now moving into appliances and smart home systems, Samsung has a large presence centered around what it calls its AI living ecosystem. They're hosting a standalone exhibition space during the show, and they're also kicking off the week with the First Look 2026 event before the main show floor opens. One of the headline products is a new bespoke AI refrigerator family hub. This version includes upgraded AI vision features.
I just want to open up my fridge and get food.
Built using Google Gemini. It's the first time Gemini is being integrated into a refrigerator. The system uses internal cameras to recognize food items, track inventory.
That would never work in my fridge. That would never work in my fridge. They haven't met my wife. My wife packs the fridge so goddamn like you open the door, there's shit falling out at you. There's no way it can inventory anything.
And support user-labeled containers. The AI vision system also expands recognition capabilities compared to previous generations. There's also a bespoke AI wine cellar. This system automatically scans wine bottles, tracks storage conditions, and organizes collections digitally. It's presented as part of the same AI ecosystem as the refrigerator and other...
Can you imagine, Altern? Can you imagine? It's like, sorry, Altern. I cannot open the fridge for you. You must put a credit card on file. Be like, fuck you!
kitchen appliances. Alongside that, there are newly designed AI-powered cooking appliances. This includes an over-the-range microwave and a slide-in range, both integrated into the AI-managed kitchen system. These appliances are designed to work together within the broader ecosystem rather than as standalone smart devices. Then there's the latest micro RGB television lineup. Micro RGB was introduced at earlier
micro RGB
shows. And for 2026, the lineup expands with multiple screen sizes using updated micro RGB panels.
Oh my God, look at all these Xboxes, guys.
LG is also bringing display technology. The company is debuting its first micro RGB televisions, and these sets use a new panel design capable of reaching refresh rates up to 240 Hz while maintaining a full RGB stripe structure. This is achieved using dynamic frequency and resolution technology, allowing users to switch between high resolution and high refresh rate modes. Multiple screen sizes are confirmed, including 75-inch, 86-inch, and 100-inch models.
Gotta go with the 100-inch, right?
These TVs will be showcased publicly and positioned as part of the premium display lineup. Now, NVIDIA has a confirmed keynote on the schedule. The official CES listing shows CEO Jensen Huang delivering the presentation on January 5th. The event description says it will cover NVIDIA's latest work across AI.
He had 2 robots come on stage with him from Star Wars.
Simulation, autonomy, and physical systems. Alongside the keynote, NVIDIA also has a broader presence planned across the show. That includes sessions, demonstrations, and CES Foundry programming focused on AI platforms, robotics workflows, and physical AI systems. While specific products haven't all been listed ahead of time, the scope of the presence is clearly laid out in the CTA schedule. Intel is bringing its Panther Lake processors to the show. These chips are part of the Core Ultra Series 3.
Don't worry, chat, you can't afford them.
Lineup and are built on the 18 angstrom process. Intel has positioned Panther Lake around AI PCs, edge inference, and improved GPU performance. The launch is tied to CES press activities and centers on performance gains, power efficiency, and local AI workloads. The processors are intended for premium laptops and next-generation AI-enabled devices. AMD is also on the schedule with a keynote from CEO Lisa Su.
New account, YouTube copyrighted me at Christmas.
The session is listed as part of the official programming. While product details haven't been fully
Is this voice AI? Probably, I have no idea.
Is expected to cover upcoming processors and AI platforms. Moving into PCs and devices, Lenovo is hosting its Tech World event at the Sphere in Las Vegas during CES week. The company says the event will focus on AI-driven hardware and software systems and present its broader vision for smarter devices and platforms. Lenovo is...
If it is AI, it's pretty good AI. Easy to understand, doesn't sound too,
also the parent company of Motorola. Motorola has sent out invitations
Oh, did you guys hear that Xbox or Microsoft did another deal with the other TV brand? So now all their TVs, I forget what it's called, Hensey, whatever it is. They're all going to have Xboxes incorporated, or the app is going to be incorporated into their TVs now. So now Samsung, LG, and that brand all are now Xboxes.
A book-style foldable smartphone expected to be revealed during the same week. The invite emphasizes an unfold theme, pointing toward a form factor different from its existing flip-style foldables. Now, moving back into robotics hardware and sensing, Paxini is debuting its tactile sensing platform. The system focuses on force and touch sensing for robotic manipulation. The hardware supports real-time grip feedback, force detection, and object interaction, with live demonstrations planned at its booth. Leopard Imaging is also showing robotics-focused hardware. The company will demonstrate humanoid-ready perception systems, including stereo and RGB IR camera setups designed for robotics and physical AI applications. These systems are built for low-light environments, motion handling, and real-time processing. All right, now, in consumer robotics, several companies already have CES appearances lined up. Roborock is listed as an official exhibitor and is expected to show its latest robot vacuum platforms during the show. The company typically uses CES to introduce updates
We'll probably watch all this stuff this week
and cleaning systems. Aper is also present with its pool cleaning robot lineup. These systems focus on automated pool maintenance using AI-assisted navigation and cleaning routines. There are also a few additional consumer robotics debuts announced through press releases and CES media channels. Roboten is bringing its modular R2 Pro cleaning robot, which combines vacuuming, mopping, and carpet washing modules into a single system. Allobot has a booth planned for its AI-powered companion robot, described
What the fuck is with these things, man?
as a cyber pet designed for interaction and companionship. WI Robotics is appearing at CES Unveiled with its assistive upper body robot, Alex. The company describes Alex as a system designed for mobility and physical assistance, with CES Unveiled serving as its first global showcase. That's the list based on what's already been announced.
Oh, good. So when I'm old, I can get angry and curse out a robot because it's not helping me.
Teased, or scheduled so far. More details will likely come out closer to the show, but this is what's already on the table. So now, I'm curious what you think. Out of everything coming to CES 2000...
All right. Yeah, you start cursing out the robot. I need help up to go to the bathroom, you stupid robot, you piece of junk. Thank you, sir. All right. It's almost 1 o'clock. We stayed 45 minutes past what I usually do. I appreciate it very much. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, playing some more video games. We'll be back tomorrow morning for the daily grind at 10 o'clock a.m. Probably watching more CES stuff this week. If you like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I do appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Yo, 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 yo. Yeah, used to be wars, now it's open doors. Gamers everywhere, no matter the store. Multi-platform rise, let's go. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Remember the times when the console wars burned? Had to pick a side, bridges never got turned. Exclusive drops kept us stuck in the fight. Now they shipping everywhere and it feeling right. Halo hit Steam, Kratos left home. Sony cross seas, now we standing on Chrome. Call of Duty don't care where you log in, whether blue, green, red, everybody's locked in. Back then, bragging like my box the best. Now it's yo, what you playing on? That's the real flex. Squads don't split, we unite for the win. Whether PC frames or a pad in your hand. Nintendo still holding Mario tight, but even rumors say Zelda might take flight. From couch to the cloud, from a disc to a stream. Gaming's for us all, that's the multiplied dream. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Game Pass rolling, making deals on the low. Sony dropping ports, watch the fan base grow. Even the Switch getting big boy drops. Monster Hunter, Fortnite can't make it stop. Epic and Steam, one's fighting for the crown. Now it's like, yo, let the players get down. Cloud stream service you can play on a phone. Doesn't matter where, you ain't playing alone. From Tekken to FIFA, from Destiny raids, everybody linking up, no matter the shade. Fanboys crying, but the world too loud. Gamers stand tall, multi-platform and proud. Imagine back then if they saw this day. Master Chief on PlayStation, Kratos on Game Pass Play. Sonic and Mario shook hands long ago. Now it's every IP learning how to grow. So no more division, the culture's too wide. We gaming together, controllers collide. This is the future, man, it ain't pretend. Every platform, every player gaming won't end. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide.